Chapter 10. I'm sorry, Teacher Qin. We've lost. Yu Tianheng stopped in front of Qin Ming and lowered his arrogant head. Qin Ming didn't say anything and just looked at him quietly. Yu Tianheng could be said to be his proudest disciple and also his pride. Today's defeat is entirely my fault. I didn't command well and went in alone, falling into the enemy's ambush. If you want to punish someone, punish me. No, Captain, this can't be blamed on you. Who knew that the ace would be so strong? Shrek planned this beforehand. Black Panther Soul Master Esro hurriedly defended Yu Tianheng. Tianheng, even if there's a mistake, it's not your fault. It's me. As a control-type Soul Master and the soul of the team, I'm the commander on the battlefield. I didn't command everyone well. Yin said. The two Black Tortoise Soul Masters didn't say anything. Yuhao wanted to say something, but was stopped by Qin Ming. Although this is a defeat for you, it's a good thing, Qin Ming said with a smile. His tone wasn't as strict as the Emperor team's waiting. Everyone was a little puzzled. Qin Ming said indifferently, it's because everything you've experienced has been too smooth all this time. Although you've met with a setback, this setback hasn't caused any of you to suffer irreparable harm. If this setback were to happen in the future, perhaps you'd have to pay the price with your lives to understand everything that's happened. Failure isn't scary. What's scary is not being able to learn from it. I think that you've already found some mistakes that belong to you. Then, the next time you meet such opponents, you'll be even stronger. Shrek 7 and the Ace team defeated you, but it's also equivalent to awakening you. Every single one of you is blessed by the heavens with exceptional talent. I'll only give you a sentence. He paused for a moment, his gaze sweeping across all the members of the Imperial Dipper battle team. Grow through failure. Grow through failure. The members of the Imperial Dipper battle team repeated Qin Ming's words. Go back and rest. Recover as soon as possible. I still have to meet a few people. After Qin Ming left, everyone raised their heads. Are we going to lose confidence just like that? Yu Tianheng said solemnly. His fighting spirit seemed to have been reignited. Yes, he had only lost once. The next time we see them, we'll let them see how different we are. Yin said. Yes. Everyone replied in unison. Yi Lingling, on the other hand, was in a daze. Lingling, are you thinking about your little lover again? Yu Feng teased. Scram. The only reply he got was a cold reply. We can't win against him. She whispered. Everyone was stunned. You don't know how terrifying that kind of martial spirit is. Everyone was speechless. They had never seen Yi Lingling like this before. However, since he can cultivate that kind of martial spirit to such an extent, he should be able to save my family. Why haven't we heard you mention your family? Everyone asked. That they were by that group of people, that damned sect. As she spoke, she actually started to cry. Everyone was shocked. She actually cried. On Shrek's side, the Grandmaster and Tang San looked at each other. Tang San could see the satisfaction in the Grandmaster's eyes. To Tang San, obtaining the Grandmaster's approval was more important than the audience's applause. The Grandmaster wasn't stingy with his praises. Very good, you won. Not only did you defeat your opponents, but you also defeated yourselves. Today's team battle soul can be considered as a test in the second stage of the trial. You all passed my test with excellent results. Oscar chuckled and said, Grandmaster, when we go back, shouldn't you give us a holiday? Flanders frowned and said, Did you participate? After hearing this, Oscar smiled bitterly. Yes, Ning Rong Rong, and I didn't participate. You little guys shouldn't be too proud. Can't you see that today's victory was all thanks to Tang Yu and Wang Dong? Although Wang Dong didn't seem to perform much. If it were the 7 monsters, you wouldn't be a match for the Emperor team. Everyone was silent because they knew that it was indeed Tang Yu's contribution. Zhao Wuji smiled and said, All right, Flanders, you don't have to act tough. The children have worked hard during this period. Grandmaster, do you think you should let them rest for a while? The Grandmaster nodded slowly. Yes, you should let them rest. When we go back this time, I'll give you half a month's holiday. You could do whatever you want. After that, I'll consider when we should start the third stage of the trial. There's a third stage? Other than Tang San, Tang Yu, and Wang Dong, the other 6 couldn't help but exclaim at the same time. The Grandmaster just glanced at them indifferently. His face returned to its traditional, stiff expression. What? Do you have any objections? No, of course not. Grandmaster, you're the wisest. Let alone the third stage. Even if it's the fourth or fifth stage, we'll definitely be able to persevere. Oscar rushed to answer. Everyone else was secretly wiping their sweat. Someone's coming, Tangyu said. Everyone was stunned and looked at the door. At this moment, a person opened the door and walked over slowly. He hadn't arrived yet. His voice was already heard. Dean Flanders. Vice Dean Zhao Wuji. How are you? Disciple Qin Ming greets you. Flanders pushed the crystal glasses on the bridge of his nose with his hand. I thought you'd forgotten about us. Zhao Wuji helped Qin Ming up from the ground. He looked at Qin Ming from head to toe and laughed. Good boy. You're getting better and better. It seems like you'll catch up to us old guys soon. Qin Ming stood respectfully with his hands by his side. No matter what, the two deans will always be Qin Ming's teachers, and Qin Ming will always be a disciple of Shrek Academy. Shrek 7 couldn't help but be stunned when he saw the scene in front of him. This person obviously has a deep relationship with the Emperor team, but from the meaning of his words, could he be a graduate of the Academy? Tangyu said slowly. Yes. Hello, juniors. Qin Ming greeted everyone. Hello, Grandmaster. He saluted the Grandmaster. The Grandmaster moved aside and didn't accept his salute. He said indifferently, You're welcome. Qin Ming couldn't help but be stunned when he saw that the Master didn't accept his greeting. Flender, on the other hand, smiled and said, You are his nephew's teacher. In this aspect, you are of the same generation as him. Of course, he won't accept your greeting. Qin Ming looked at Flanders in confusion. The Grandmaster's eyes showed a hint of dissatisfaction, as if he was blaming Flanders for revealing his background. Don't you know? Yu Tianheng is the Grandmaster's nephew, and the Grandmaster is a member of the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect. He's someone who is excluded, Tangyu said with some displeasure. A few years ago, Tangyu had already regarded the Grandmaster as his family. This sect actually shunned my family. Everyone looked at Tangyu in surprise. The Grandmaster wasn't surprised because Tangyu knew almost everything. Tangyu even said that he would bring him to the sect to seek justice. It had to be said that Tangyu was really domineering. However, the Grandmaster rejected him. He didn't want to go back anymore. Just like what Tangyu said, I'm someone who was shunned by that sect. The Grandmaster smiled bitterly. He turned around and walked outside. Sin wanted to catch up with his teacher, but the Grandmaster raised his hand and stopped him. You guys still have to calculate this month's soul power points later. Go back with Flanders later. I have something to do. After watching the Grandmaster leave, Sin looked at Tangyu with some doubts. Tangyu shook his head with a bitter smile. It seems that I've said too much. Everyone understood. No wonder the Grandmaster's expression was a little strange when he mentioned the Tyrannosaurus family. It turned out that he was actually from such a powerful Soul Master family. In such a family, he had a mutated martial soul as weak as Sanbao. If they were in his shoes, they would probably... Qin Ming let out a long breath. I really didn't expect the Grandmaster to be Tianheng's uncle. Qin Ming then looked at Shrek 7 and the Ace Group. He smiled and said, Teacher Flanders, it seems that our Shrek Academy is developing better than before. Zhao Wuji said helplessly, What's so good about it? These children will be the last batch of students in the academy. Qin Ming was shocked and subconsciously asked, Could it be that the academy's financial problems haven't been solved yet? As soon as the words left his mouth, he realized that he had said something wrong. He looked at Flender with an awkward expression. Flanders sighed. It's the truth. There's nothing to hide. Besides, we're tired. As we get older, we don't have the drive we had when we were young. After these kids graduate, I think we can also go and have a life of our own. Qin Ming, the students you taught are very good. Each of them can be considered an elite. Qin Ming smiled bitterly. It's not that I taught them well. Those children have excellent talents and backgrounds. It's not that I'm attractive enough to teach them. It's that our academy has enough things to attract them. Oh, so you're teaching in an academy? Flanders looked at him in surprise. Qin Ming nodded and said, Teacher Flanders, I'm now teaching at Heaven Do Imperial Academy. The 7 children of the Emperor team are the most outstanding disciples of Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Bringing them out this time can be considered as an experience. It's also a good opportunity to come back and visit our Shrek Academy. I didn't expect that in just 2 days, my juniors would give me such a big gift. Flanders laughed and said, as soon as I saw you, I was relieved about this soul battle. All right, this isn't the place to talk. Let's go to our hotel. We haven't seen each other for so many years. Let's talk. Qi Ming nodded happily. Flanders turned to Shrek 7 and the ace combination. He said, all right, you guys go and settle your points first. Then come back quickly. Wuji, Qi Ming, let's go. Flanders and the other 2 left. Only Shrek 7, Light Rain, and Wang Dong were left. At this moment, the 7 of them had the help of Oscar's recovery sausage. They had recovered a lot of their stamina. Some of their soul power had also recovered. Ma Hongjun muttered to himself, so I'm already so powerful. Even the elites of Heaven Do Imperial Academy can't beat me. Haha, I'm indeed a genius. Dai Mubai knocked Fatso's head in annoyance. Genius my ass. Did you defeat the Emperor team? If it wasn't for Light Rain's Shao, how could we have won in such a short time? Fatso laughed and said, Boss Dai, you can't say that. Didn't the Great Master say that we're a team? Everyone had contributed to this. Light Rain is powerful, but I Fatso have some skills too. However, Light Rain, thank you. Those songs of yours were too powerful. Tang Yu smiled. Oh, right. What kind of academy is the Heaven Do Imperial Academy that Senior Qin Ming was talking about? Tang Sen asked. Dai Mubai was speechless. Shao San, you can't be. You don't even know about the Heaven Do Imperial Academy? Tang Sen scratched his head and said, I really don't know. Shao Wu nodded. I don't know either. Are they very famous? To put it bluntly, it's just an academy for the royal family. They only accept students with noble titles. This is the Empire's academy. Most of the students who graduate become people of the Empire, and the Empire binds them like this. It's also because the students are all nobles. That's why the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, with its complete facilities and powerful teachers, has always been the #1 academy in Heaven Do. However, there aren't many famous soul masters who graduate from it. This kind of academy is really annoying. A school is a place for learning. It's actually become a method for the royal family to bind people. Tang Yu said coldly. Although he was once a noble, his achievements were all made by himself. It had nothing to do with his background as a noble. That's why he hated those royal family nobles who thought he was better than others. Everyone was shocked. Tang Yu seemed to hate the royal family. He actually said something like that. Hey, Light Rain, say something. If the royal family finds out that you're slandering them, you won't be able to keep your life. Dai Mubai tried to persuade him. Let's see if they dare to. Tang Yu said coldly. Everyone almost forgot that with the power behind Tang Yu, even the Martial Soul Palace wouldn't dare to touch Tang Yu. What about the Heavenly Soul Empire? Oscar suddenly said, Boss Dai, Tang San. What's Senior Qin Ming's rank now? Dai Mubai was stunned. Looking at Senior Qin's appearance, he should be around 30 years old. The Academy's previous record was rank 30 at the age of 14. He's 2 months earlier than you. It seems like Senior Qin Ming should be at least rank 50 now. He's already above rank 50 in his early 30s. He's really strong. No wonder he can become a teacher in the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Tang Sen nodded slowly. He agreed with Dai Mubai's guess. He's a rank 60 soul emperor with a fire wolf martial soul. Tang Yu said from the side. Everyone was shocked. Light Rain instantly saw through someone's strength again, calculating points. The evil-eyed white tiger's total points were 2,491 points. His fighting soul badge was upgraded to a silver fighting soul. The sausage monopoly's total points were 1,879 points. His fighting soul badge was upgraded to a silver fighting soul. The 1,000-armed Shura's total points were 5,567 points. His fighting soul badge was upgraded to a gold fighting soul. Everyone else had obtained a silver fighting soul badge. However, Tang Yu's Wang Dong actually had more than 9,000 points. The 7 monsters weren't surprised at all. It would be strange if they didn't obtain such a high number of points. They had always participated in singles and doubles, and had never lost. Oscar muttered, "1 month I really became a silver fighting soul. In just 1 month? I'll be able to obtain a lot of gold soul coins every time I participate in a soul battle from now on. This is unbelievable." Oscar felt a sudden pain in his arm and shuddered. He looked at the beautiful girl beside him with a wronged expression. "Rong Rong, why did you pinch me?" A harmless smile appeared on Ning Rong Rong's beautiful little face. "Let me see if it hurts. If it hurts, I'll take a look. If it hurts, it's not a dream." As 2 auxiliary-type soul masters, they naturally had the deepest feelings for being able to obtain a silver fighting soul so quickly. Oscar wasn't unhappy because Ning Rong Rong pinched him. He rubbed the place where he was pinched and said seriously, "I've decided not to take a bath this month." Tang Sen laughed. "That's not a problem. Just don't stay in the same room as me. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I won't throw you into the river when you're sleeping and smelly." As he spoke, he made a throwing motion. Immediately, everyone burst into laughter. On the other side, Uncle, Yu Tianheng suddenly felt a lump in his throat as he looked at the master. Even though the master had left home for many years, he still remembered it clearly. When he was young, this uncle often hugged him and played with him. At that time, his face wasn't as stiff as it was now. His father, as the eldest son, had to learn how to manage the family's affairs and cultivate from his grandfather every day. When he was young, this uncle in front of him was the one who accompanied him most of the time. It could even be said that, for a very long time, Yu Tianheng treated the master in front of him as his father. A gentle light appeared in the master's eyes. He patted Yu Tianheng's shoulder. "It seems you've been doing well these years. You're rank 39 now. Little Hung has finally grown up." Yu Tianheng's eyes were slightly red. He, who had just suffered a setback, suddenly saw his family. It was a feeling of finding sustenance. He choked and said, "Uncle, come home with me. Actually, Grandpa has always been thinking about you. So has Dad." Strong emotions flashed through the master's eyes. He sighed softly. He said indifferently, "Although your grandfather is the patriarch doesn't have the final say in the family. I've been kicked out of the family long ago and am no longer listed in the family tree. Can I still go back? How are your grandfather and father?" Yu Tianheng nodded. "They're all good, but Grandpa is old. He doesn't care much anymore. Most of the family's affairs have been handed over to Dad. Uncle, do you know I've seen Grandpa in a daze at your portrait more than once. He must really want you to go back and see him." "Stop talking." The master suddenly interrupted Yu Tianheng's words with some irritation. His whole body twitched a few times, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. Yu Tianheng didn't speak. In the entire sect, his family only cared about the progress of his soul power and the use of his soul skills. Only the master, only the uncle in front of him, really brought him some happiness that belonged to his childhood. "Tianheng, maybe soon we'll meet again. Don't be discouraged by today's failure. Failure isn't terrible. What's terrible is not learning from failure. All of you are very powerful, but from today's soul battle, I can see that you're all very strong. You didn't use all your strength. Otherwise, it's hard to predict the outcome." Yu Tianheng's heart moved. "Uncle, did you see our team battle soul today? I've lost face for the family." The master shook his head. "Do you know what you did wrong? You didn't lose to your opponent. You lost to yourself. Not bad. Your basic skills, and even the use of your soul skills, didn't have any problems. The reason why you fell into your opponent's trap, it's because of the pride in your heart. The pride that belongs to the Tyrannosaurus family." "Pride?" Yu Tianheng looked at the master. Gradually, something appeared in his eyes. He was extremely smart. With the master and Qin Ming's advice, he realized that he had to be careful. He immediately realized some key issues. "Uncle, don't worry. There will be another chance next time. I won't lose to them again." A rare smile appeared on Grandmaster's face, and he said, "You'll have a chance as I'm the leader of Shrek's 7 monsters." "What?" Yu Tianheng was stunned to hear this. He looked at the master in disbelief. "In the family. All the rumors he heard about the master were about how the master had a trash martial soul, and also about the past that brought shame to the family. Although he didn't care about these things, he still understood the master's strength very well. It was a strength that could never break through rank 30. The master smiled indifferently. It's strange, isn't it? Not bad. My strength isn't strong, but it doesn't mean that I can't teach good disciples. Shrek 7 can't all be my disciples. But now that I'm their teacher, I only have 2 direct disciples. You saw them just now. They are Shrek 7's control master and the child who plays the flute. It's them. Yu Tianheng looked at the master with a different gaze. The master's eyes flashed. One day, I will let the world know. Although I, Yu Shaojing, am a trash, I can teach an unparalleled genius. Tianheng, I'm leaving. Remember my words. If you want to display your full strength under any circumstances, if you want to lead your team to victory, then give up your pride. Pride is just a burden. After saying that, the master looked deeply at Yu Tianheng and patted him on the shoulder. Then, he turned around and walked into the darkness. Uncle, can you teach me too? Yu Tianheng chased after him. The master stopped. He gently shook his head. Tianheng, if the family knows that I'm teaching you, what do you think they'll do? I'm afraid I'll immediately become the enemy of the Tyrannosaurus family. If you really want to become a great soul master, then take my 2 disciples. In that case, set my 2 disciples as your goal. If one day you can surpass one of them, you'll be able to surpass them. Then, you'll definitely stand at the top of the continent's soul masters. Uncle, why? Yu Tianheng asked, somewhat unconvinced. You know, my 2 disciples, Thousand Hand Shura and Destiny Judge, are both above rank 30. Actually, I forgot to tell you that Destiny Judge is already a rank 50 expert. It's just that he deliberately sealed half of his strength to participate in this competition. What? Yu Tianheng was shocked. That person was actually a rank 50 expert. Monster. Somewhere. Achoo. Strange. I don't have a cold. Haha. Do you know how old they are? Yu Tianheng shook his head. The 2 of them are only 13 years old. What? One was rank 33, 13 years old, and the other was even more abnormal. He had already broken the record. Above rank 50, 13 years old. At this moment, he finally understood. Why did his uncle say that if he wanted to become a great soul master, he had to catch up to that person's footsteps? Uncle, what kind of monsters did you teach? At the same time. Achoo. Somewhere, 2 people sneeze at the same time. Damn, I already sneered one just now. Are you still letting me live? Who is worshipping me? Here, Tang Yu's mental activity. Okay, I'm leaving. Wait, Uncle, what's wrong? That, I have a team member who wants to meet Destiny Judge. Oh, at this moment, Shrek and the others finally returned to their hotel. They took off their masks. As soon as they entered the hotel, they saw Flanders and the other 2 sitting in the corner of the restaurant, drinking and chatting. The food on the 3 people's table didn't seem to be much, and they were talking about something. Hee, there's wine to drink. Fatso was the first to walk over. He was also considered Flanders's direct disciple. In front of Flanders, he was not as restrained as the others. Teacher, we won today. Shouldn't we be rewarded? Ma Hongjun walked to Flanders's side and reached for the wine glass on the table. Flanders flipped the chopsticks in his hand. It hit the bones of Fatso's hand. Fatso felt pain in his hand. He quickly retracted his hand. Qin Ming looked at Ma Hongjun, who was standing beside Flanders, with some confusion. Teacher, is this little brother also a student of the academy? We are Shrek Academy. When did we have so many disciples? Ma Hongjun said casually, Senior Qin, we haven't seen each other for a long time. You don't remember me, even though we haven't been apart for long. Qin Ming widened his eyes and carefully looked at Fatty. You're the one from Shrek 7 just now. The one who can breathe fire? Then, are these people the junior brothers and sisters who were wearing masks just now? How old are you this year? Qin Ming looked at these children, who were mostly under the age of 15, in a daze. For a moment, he couldn't help but be speechless. Flanders habitually let out his hoarse and sinister laughter. What, Qin Ming? Have you forgotten the tradition of our academy? We only accept students who are 12 years old. Ma Hongjun entered the academy at the age of 11. Tang San, Tang Yu, Wang Dong, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Zhuqing all entered this year. These few years can be considered the names of the students who have been accepted this year. Qin Ming reluctantly swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Then let's put it this way. Most of them are only 12 or 13 years old. Flanders nodded. Qin Ming's gaze swept across Shrek 7 and the Ace team. He smiled bitterly and said, "Now I know why you are wearing masks. You have really given me too many surprises. I always thought that the Emperor team was very talented, but in front of you, they are nothing. If they were the same age, they would have no chance at all." "Senior," Dai Mubai asked, "what about senior? May I be so bold as to ask, what's your soul power rank now?" Qin Ming asked. "Rank 62. My luck's not bad." The 7 freaks turned to Tang Yu. "What are you looking at me for? I already told you before, but you didn't believe me." Tang Yu laughed. Wait, what do you mean?" Qin Ming didn't understand. "I already knew senior's strength. I told them, but they didn't dare to believe me." Tang Yu said, Then your strength is..." Qin Ming didn't dare to believe it. "No, it's not rank 60. That's good. You really scare me to death. But I'm rank 53. Also, don't think that I'm a girl just because I look like a girl." He released the real number of soul rings. "Fuck, are you really 13 years old? A 13-year-old soul king? Was there such a thing in history? Definitely not. Also, this kid just said that he was a boy." Qin Ming looked at Shrek 7, who was sitting down, and finally looked at Tang San, Tang Yu, and Wang Dong. "What a pity. If junior brother and junior sister weren't from our Shrek Academy, I would definitely think of a way to get you guys into the Imperial Academy. Maybe." Qin Ming just finished speaking when a voice suddenly sounded from not far away. "Even if they are from the Shrek Academy, you can still bring them to the Imperial Academy." Everyone stared at the master. He looked at Tang Yu, and Tang Yu understood and walked over. The master whispered something in Tang Yu's ear. When Tang Yu heard it, his pupils shrank, and he seemed a little surprised. "I understand." Tang Yu put on his mask and walked out. Everyone was puzzled. "Don't worry, I'll ask him to do something." Chapter 11. Night. Tang Yu's room. Click. Tang Yu opened the door. As soon as he entered, someone grabbed him and pushed him onto the bed. After that person actually wrote on Tang Yu. "You, tell me the truth. Where did you go?" "It was Wang Dong." That? "Dear, let me explain." "No need to explain. There's actually a woman's scent." Looks like you went to eat fish." No. Dear, I really didn't." Are you confessing without being pressed? Watch how I punish you." Wang Dong reached his hand under Tang Yu's armpit. No, it's itchy. Damn it. Watch my counterattack." After he finished speaking, he flipped over and pressed Wang Dong under his body. After that, I was wrong. The two youngsters' quarrel caused the surrounding people to gossip. Tang San's dormitory. Little 3, is your brother in the primal war? You're so wretched. Dai Mubai's dormitory. Fatso, you're... Big brother Dai. They really... I can't take it anymore. I can't hold it in. Ew. Get lost. Boom. Girls' dormitory. Oh, Light Rain Wang Dong is fighting. Rong. What are you thinking? But I'm really curious. Boring. Seventh sister. Are you going out? What are you going to do? Oh. The next day, when Tang Yu and Wang Dong walked into the cafeteria, to their surprise, other than Tang San, everyone had already started eating breakfast. Yo, the ace woke up a little late. Did you guys have fun last night? Dai Mubai joked. Tang Yu and Wang Dong instantly blushed. I'm just kidding. Dai Mubai laughed. Not long after, Tang San also arrived. Our MTR team is here. Yo, Iron Man, why are you so clean today? Tang San smiled. I'm done, so of course I'll come out. There's only a few days left until we leave for the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Ning Rongrong curiously asked, Third brother, what did you get this time? Show it to all of us. Tang Sen said, actually, I didn't make many things during this period of time because it's really troublesome to make them. I've also made something more practical for everyone. I'll eat first, and then we'll go outside. That way, I can help you cover it up. The cafeteria is too small. Quickly take it out. What is it? Ning Rong Rong asked anxiously. Tang Sen smiled. His right hand swiped across the 24 moonlit bridges. He took out a special-looking item. It was a cylindrical object completely made of metal, and its entire body was silver. It looked similar to a sleeve arrow. However, it was bigger than a sleeve arrow. It was also thicker. In order to let everyone see it more clearly, Tang Sen rolled up the sleeve of his left arm and pulled with both hands. He half-opened the cylindrical object to one side. It formed 2 semicircles. Everyone saw it. There was a flannel lining on the inside of the cylindrical object. Tang Sen clasped it on his left forearm. The cylindrical object's length was just enough to completely cover his left forearm. He first adjusted it. Then he swung his arm. The cylindrical object was completely attached to his arm, and it didn't sway at all. It seemed to fit perfectly. Third brother, isn't this the flying god claw? Tang Yu asked. Yes. Light Rain, I made it. Look at how I operate it. Tang Sen said. He pulled at the top of the flying god claw. He pulled out 5 metal buckles and put them on the 5 fingers of his left hand. Then his 5 fingers tightened. It was accompanied by a clear, clanging sound. A metal all suddenly popped out, and it was exactly the length of a palm. Then, the front of the metal all suddenly exploded and turned into a metal claw. The claw had 5 fingers, and it shone coldly under the sunlight, especially the tip of the claw. It felt like 5 cold stars in the sky. Tang Sen picked up a stone from the ground beside him. The flying god claw was made by combining several kinds of metals and hammering them thousands of times. It's extremely hard and can penetrate gold and stone. This metal claw is its most important part. After the claw opens, as long as it touches it slightly, it will trigger the spring and gear I made inside, causing the metal claw to tighten directly. He put the stone on the metal claw. There was a whoosh. Under everyone's stunned gaze, the metal claw easily pierced into the rock as if it was tofu. Half of the entire claw was buried in. Tang Sen explained in detail. After the metal claw buckles the target, there are 5 ways to operate it. First, if you straighten your index finger with a metal ring on it, the metal claw will spring back and return to its previous state. Second, if you straighten your middle finger, then the metal claw will dig in with all its might. It's extremely strong. It can probably penetrate an inch-thick steel plate. As for the other 3 methods, you'll have to match it with the other methods. As he spoke, he straightened his middle finger, and a cloud of dust rose. The ordinary rock was actually crushed to pieces. Seeing this scene, Shrek's 6 freaks couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Of course, Tang Yu's Wang Dong was calm and composed. The 6 freaks couldn't figure out how such a sturdy claw had been made. In fact, Tang Sen wasn't exaggerating when he said that it had been hammered 1,000 times. Once the metal was formed, even a casting hammer couldn't change its shape. Tang Sen had used up a lot of soul power and relied on his other martial soul's small hammer to complete it. Dai Mubai's heart skipped a beat. He said, "What other uses does this claw have? If that's all, it's not as strong as my tiger claw." Dai Mubai said, "What other uses does this claw have? If that's all, it's not as strong as my tiger claw. Don't talk about crushing rocks." Given his current strength, his tiger claw would have no problem cutting through gold and jade. Tang Sen smiled. He said, "Of course it's not just that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called the flying god claw. Its main use is to help us fly. Even though it's not really flying, it's still very useful as a tool. Look, this is its 3rd use." As he spoke, Tang Sen flicked the claw away again. Then, he raised his left arm towards a large tree about 20 meters away. His thumbs suddenly straightened, and a whooshing sound was heard. The claw attached to his arm guard shot out like lightning. Under the sunlight, it flashed with a ray of light. In the blink of an eye, it flew out and grabbed onto the tree trunk. Everyone could clearly see it. Behind the claw, There was a steel cable about as thick as a hemp rope. Then, Tang Sen straightened his ring finger and tapped the ground lightly with the tip of his foot. His body was like an arrow off the line. Under the pull of the steel cable, he pounced on the tree in the blink of an eye. The tip of his foot tapped lightly on the tree. Relying on the pull of the flying god claw, his whole body lay horizontally on the tree trunk. His index finger flicked. He released the claw. Tang Sen had returned to the front of everyone after a few ups and downs. In some special terrain, the flying god claw can play a very good role. At the same time, it can also be used to catch people. The length of the steel cable is 30 meters, and the contraction force is about 300 pounds. As long as our weight doesn't exceed 300 pounds, we can reach a certain height. You can use it to climb to a certain height. The internal structure of each celestial claw was very complicated. It was composed of a large number of gears and springs. Of course, for Tang Sen, this was not a delicate work. It was really delicate. It was still the 18 iron balls sleeping in the 24 moonlit bridges. His little finger flicked, and the steel claw returned to the arm guard. Tang Sen shook his wrist, and his 5 fingers separated from the iron claw. The iron claw returned to the arm guard and hit itself. At first glance, it still looked like a very ordinary steel arm guard. Ma Hongjun muttered, "This is a must-have tool for leaping onto roofs, vaulting over walls, and sneaking in and picking locks." Tang Sen said unhappily, "What do you mean by sneaking in and picking locks?" "Fatso, you have to pay attention to your weight. If one day you exceed 300 pounds, it will be useless. Also, there's one more thing. When you equip it, you have to remove a sleeve arrow. Mubai, when you use your martial soul, your body's muscles will change a little. That's why I added some elastic ropes to your flying god claw. This way, your muscles won't swell and destroy it." Apart from Tang Sen, Shrek's 6 freaks fully displayed their tacit understanding at this time. They made the same movement towards Tang Sen. They stretched out their right hand. Although the flying god claw did not seem to have any offensive power. However, they were all smart people. Everyone could see how useful this thing could be in certain situations. As for its specific use, they still needed to familiarize themselves with it. Tang Sen took out 6 flying god claws and gave them to each of them. Everyone had it custom-made for them. This was because everyone was still young. In order to prevent the thickness of their arms from changing as they grew older, the joints of the flying god claws were all connected with elastic ropes. "Don't you want light rain in Guangdong?" Tang Sen looked towards Tang Yu and asked. Tang Yu shook his head. This item was actually useless to him. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 months of recuperation had passed. Flanders had bought Shrek Academy back then, and there was nothing valuable there. The teachers did not object to the Grandmaster's suggestion. The agreed time was about to arrive. Under Flanders' command, everyone packed up. They prepared to set off for Heavendoe Imperial Academy. On this day, the wind was gentle and the sun was bright. There were no clouds in the sky. They stood at the academy's entrance. Flanders looked at the somewhat dilapidated plaque with the words Shrek Academy engraved on it. For a moment, all sorts of feelings welled up in his heart. 20 years. How many 20 years could a person have in their life? The bits and pieces that he once had here continuously flowed in his heart, and a sour feeling appeared at the tip of his nose. Zhao Wuji hugged Flanders' shoulder. "Don't look. Let's go. It's not like we're not coming back. At worst, I'll accompany you back to retire." Flanders glared at him. "Am I very old?" Zhao Wuji laughed bitterly. "No. Yes, we're only 50 years old, so we can't be considered too old. However, the few of us can be considered as oddballs. We actually don't even have a place to get married." Flanders snorted. "That's because your standards are too high. How can it be so easy to find a female soul master? Don't you know that female soul masters only account for 10% of all soul masters? What about you? You don't have high standards? How come you don't have a wife?" Zhao Wuji said somewhat unhappily. I. Flanders was stunned. He was somewhat speechless. When he looked up at Grandmaster, he discovered that Grandmaster was also looking at him. Both of them revealed a bitter look in their eyes and shook their heads at almost the same time. "Let's go." Flanders collected his emotions and gave the order to leave. The group of more than 10 people began to walk away from Shrek. Don't worry. Shrek will always be Shrek. It won't disappear. Tengu turned back to look at the campus. No one knew who he was talking to. Huh? No one understood. This trip, perhaps, may be a turning point for the academy, Tengu said meaningfully. After that, he followed the group and left. Do Empire's imperial city, Heaven Do City. Located slightly northeast of the center of the Heaven Do Empire, it was the core of the Heaven Do Empire's political power. It was also one of the two largest cities on the continent. On the continent of Dola, only the imperial city of the Sionra Empire could compare to it. Although the kingdoms and duchies under the two empires were no longer under control, the empire's foundation was still there. With Heaven Do City as the center, the Heaven Do Empire controlled 3 major military regions nearby. The total number of troops exceeded 1 million. They were strong and powerful. In a sense, the Heaven Do Empire had its own reasons for not forcefully restricting its subordinate kingdoms. Regardless of whether it was Heaven Do or Xingluo, the two empires' kingdoms and duchies were mostly at the borders of each other. If a war broke out, these kingdoms and duchies would definitely be the first to fight. Of course, this was also a helpless move. Which emperor didn't want to use imperial power to control everything? But the current situation on the continent didn't allow for a unified situation at all. There was a dream world here. Everyone stayed in a small town. The so-called small town. It was actually a relatively large village. The Shrek Academy's people stayed in. It was the only hotel. Although it was a little shabby, it could barely be considered clean. Flanders fully displayed his talent for being stingy and only asked for a total of 3 rooms. The teachers slept in one room, the male students in another, and the female students in another. I'm so tired. Oscar lay directly on the bed, breathing heavily. He had a look of enjoyment on his face. Dai Mubai said unhappily, "Why are you tired? Most of your weight is hanging on Light Rain's body, okay? He hasn't even said he's tired, and you're already saying you're tired?" But Tengu had already fallen asleep and was sleeping soundly. Haha, Boss Dai, didn't you say Light Rain wasn't tired? Okay, everyone, hurry up and rest. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. The door opened a crack. Xiao Wu poked his head in from outside. "Xiao San, come out. Come out for a moment," Tang San replied. He walked out of the room. Not long after, Tang San returned to his dormitory. To Tang San's surprise, other than Light Rain and Wang Dong, Dai Mubai and the other 2 were still awake. The 3 of them looked at Tang San with a smile that wasn't a smile. Oscar stood up from the bed and lifted a leg in Dai Mubai's direction. He said in a coquettish voice, "We've been rushing for the whole day. My legs are sore, brother. Can you rub my legs for me?" Dai Mubai laughed and imitated Tang San's voice. "Okay, here?" Oscar hurriedly followed up. "Yes, here it is. Rong Rong and Zhu Qing are asleep." Looking at their comical appearance, Rong Rong said. Tang San said angrily, "Okay, you guys were eavesdropping on us." Fatso chuckled. "We weren't the ones eavesdropping. It's just that the soundproofing here isn't good. Brother, can you massage my legs too?" As he spoke, he gestured with his fat legs. Tang San nodded seriously. "Okay, no problem. I heard. Some poisons are actually beneficial to the human body and can even relax the muscles and promote blood circulation. I don't know if my 8-spider spear will work, but I'll use it on you." As he spoke, he took off his shirt and revealed his muscular upper torso. He looked as if he was about to release the 8-spider spear. Fatso was startled. He hurriedly pulled the blanket over his body. He let out a strange, tragic cry. "No, 3rd elder brother. I was wrong." Tang San said unhappily, "Sleep." Dai Mubai chuckled. He said, "Tang San, Xiao has already expressed her feelings to you. As her brother, you shouldn't be so obtuse. Xiao Wu is a rare beauty. If you're quick, you'll get it. If you're slow, you won't get it." Tang San was stunned. "But we're siblings. All right, let's not talk about this. We're still so young. Isn't it too early to talk about this? Do you think I'm fatso?" I don't have as much evil fire as him. Ma Hong-jun retorted. What's wrong with me? The matters between men and women are natural. It's the most primitive instinct. Tang Xin glared at him. I think you're only left with instinct. Boom! The few of them looked to the side. Wang Dong had already split a table in half. Quiet. You're disturbing the light rain. Yes, everyone said in unison. However, Tang Yu wasn't woken up by the noise. Was he really asleep? Yes, he was indeed asleep. But the dream world. This place was like the ancient Jianghu. The pedestrians wearing ancient clothes were chattering about something. There were also many people flying in the sky. Those people had powerful fluctuations on their bodies. Hey, did you hear? The thief sage stole the treasures of the cultivation families again to help the poor. Really? Really? It can't be any more real. The thief sage is really powerful. Yes. He always appears and disappears mysteriously. No one knows what he looks like. It's said that many large cultivation sects coveted the treasures that the thief sage stole. They even sent out Mahayana stage and even tribulation stage experts to capture the thief sage. The people who captured the treasures were almost all experts above the soul formation stage. Those who flew by just now seemed to be out-of-body stage cultivators. But it's said that the teams of some large families who chased after the thief sage never returned. The thief sage must have killed them. It's good that these people who put themselves in a superior sect died. Yes, most of their good things were taken from us, the rogue cultivators. Somewhere, this place was like a fairyland. Wasn't this the place where Tang Yu cultivated the last time? There were two people standing on the peak. One of them was 65 meters tall, with blue hair, fluttering in the wind. He had a beautiful appearance and wore a black trench coat. He had an indescribable aura, but he had an Adam's apple. Beside him stood a 2-meter tall, white-haired little boy. Hee hee, how does it feel to be praised? The little boy laughed. Hee hee, what does it have to do with me if they praise me? I've almost learned the 100 ways to steal that you taught me. Then, what do you plan to do with these corpses? The little boy pointed at the corpses piled up like a mountain at the foot of the mountain. Looking at their clothes, they seemed to be from large families or the same sect. Boom! A fireball instantly burned the mountain of corpses into ashes. Just burn the corpses. The one in the black trench coat was Tang Yu. But does this world really exist? The immortal cultivation world. Tang Yu said, the immortal cultivation world exists. This world is where I used to cultivate. After I ascended, I became an immortal. The so-called immortal strength is about the same as the gods in your world. However, there are some differences. They're slightly weaker than the gods, but they can live a carefree life like Xiaoyao. It's not like the god realm that restricts one's freedom. After I became an immortal, I refined my immortal power into divine power and came to the god realm. I created my own god position. However, that was a matter of billions of years ago. You are. Tang Yu looked at him in shock. Me? Hee hee. Do you really want to know? Then I'll tell you. I am. Light rain is coming. Tang Yu immediately sat up. He seemed to be frightened. It's already morning. Light rain, let's go. Wang Dong and the others had already put on their clothes. They didn't care about his shock. Tang Yu still hadn't recovered because of the last sentence that the child said. The first god of emotions. Tang Yu paused. This information was too much. The first god of emotions. He muttered to himself. The group continued on their way. At this time, they had already left the Bala Kingdom. They entered the kingdom of Silvis. Fortunately, Flanders didn't increase his speed today. He just led the group at a normal speed towards the northeast. That day, they arrived at the capital of the kingdom of Silvis, which was located in the south of the country. Silvis City. Flanders actually chose this big city to stay in for the first time. Furthermore, when they entered the city, the sky had just darkened. Flanders, have you changed? When Dean Flanders brought everyone to stay in a rather expensive hotel, the master of the Alchemy Institute was shocked. Even the master, who usually didn't care about money, couldn't help but feel surprised. This time, Flanders actually booked 5 rooms. This allowed everyone to live more comfortably. Even dinner was unprecedentedly sumptuous. Whether it was the master or Zhao Wuji and the other teachers, they were all very puzzled by Flanders' behavior. How could he, who had always been stingy, suddenly become so generous? During dinner, Flanders finally revealed his true colors. Flanders smiled. He raised the wine glass in front of him and said, "We've been on the road for 2 days. Everyone has worked hard. Today, I'll treat everyone to a good meal. However, the little monsters are only allowed 1 glass of wine each." He took the lead and poured the wine into his stomach. He also warmly entertained everyone to eat. Dai Mubai whispered in Tang San's ear, compared to his smile. "I prefer to see our dean's serious look. I don't know why, but he smiles every time. I feel that his smile is so treacherous. Just wait and see. Today, our dean spent so much money. There must be a problem. He should be preparing to ask us to participate in the soul dueling tournament." Tang Yu said. The 7 monsters nodded, because Light Rain's guesses were usually very accurate. As expected, after 3 rounds of wine, after savoring the 5 flavors of the dishes, Flinder wiped his mouth clean. He gently said to Shrek 7, "You haven't fought in real combat for 2 months. There's also a big soul dueling arena in Sylvis. You should go and exercise tonight. Yes, you don't have to participate in all the soul dueling tournaments. In order not to affect tomorrow's journey, just participate in the soul dueling tournament." The 7 monsters gave Light Rain a thumbs up at the same time. "Amazing. You guessed it." Tang Yu underscore. Dai Mubai said, "Dean, that's the reward we got from the actual combat this time. Should we also hand it over to the academy?" Flanders said righteously, "Although the academy has been closed, as your dean, do you think I will take advantage of you? All the income is distributed by you. It has nothing to do with us." Mubai, do you suspect that I have an ulterior motive? Could it be that this dean has really changed? It was still Ma Hongjun who knew his teacher the best. On the other side, he mouthed something to Dai Mubai. Dai Mubai suddenly understood. Ma Hongjun mouthed only one word: gamble. Yes, in the case of the same level, even the Emperor team couldn't beat Shrek 7. How could they meet an opponent? As long as they bet heavily in the team battle, there would be a lot of profit. In that case, there would naturally be a sizable profit. This was Flanders' true plan. "Okay, let's go." Flanders happily paid the bill. After asking about the location of the Great Soul Dueling Arena, he led everyone out of the hotel. The staff of the Great Soul Dueling Arena carefully checked Shrek 7's Soul Dueling badge. They couldn't help but look at the 9-masked Soul Masters in front of them in disbelief. With some difficulty, they said, "I'm sorry, respected Soul Masters. I'm afraid you can't participate in the team battle tonight." Shrek 7 and the Ace team didn't care, but Flanders was anxious. After all, he had spent a lot of money after entering Sylvis City, and he was hoping to make a fortune here. "Why? Is there no one in the Great Soul Dueling Arena?" Flanders said angrily. Although Flanders' words were a bit arrogant, the staff didn't refute at all. They did have the right to be arrogant. He had worked in the Great Soul Dueling Arena for more than 20 years. It was the first time he saw such a strange soul dueling team. "I'm sorry, sir. Our Great Soul Dueling Arena really doesn't have a level 30 Golden Soul dueling team that can fight fairly," the staff said awkwardly. Flanders said, "The Silver Soul Dueling team is also fine. You didn't see. Only 3 of them have just reached the title of Golden Soul Dueling Soul." The staff shook his head and said, "That's definitely not possible. First of all, we only have 1 level 30 Silver Soul Dueling team here, but it's obviously unfair to let them fight. I think you also know the rules of the Great Soul Dueling Arena. The team's level is calculated according to the highest level soul dueling master in the team." Zhao Wuji on the side laughed with some schadenfreude. Someone's plan is going to fail. Flinder asked unwillingly, "Is there no other way?" The staff member thought for a moment and said, "It's not like there's no other way. If you decide to skip ranks and participate in the soul duel, you'll have to pay the price. If you want to fight in the soul dueling arena, I can arrange it. You will no longer be restricted by the soul dueling badge. That is to say, you can challenge the lowest level 40 soul dueling team. In our place, level 40 soul dueling team is almost all silver soul dueling team, and there are also a few golden soul dueling teams. You can choose at will. Level 40? Flanders hesitated for a moment. Then he shook his head firmly. Then forget it. As the saying goes, a gentleman loves money. It's just. Flanders understood this truth. No, I think it's okay. The master's stiff voice suddenly sounded. He walked slowly to Flanders' side. Flinder furrowed his brows. Shao Gang, are you kidding? How can this be? You don't know the difference of one soul ring. Do you want the little guys to die? Don't forget, there are still 3 of them who haven't even reached level 30. Facing a level 40 soul dueling team, they have no chance. They don't stand a chance. Don't we have 2 trump cards? Yes. Yes. How could I forget? The master turned to the staff. Just now you said that we can choose any opponent. No problem. The staff nodded hurriedly. Of course, no problem. And I can guarantee that this team battle will be carried out in the center of the great soul dueling arena. The master continued. Are there any particularly ferocious teams among the level 40 teams here? It's best if they have killed their opponents every time. The higher the kill ratio, the better. The staff looked at the master in surprise, thinking in his heart, did this person ask their team to come to a killing ground? Originally, he thought that the master would choose the weakest level 40 team, but he didn't expect that he would say such a thing. Is there such a team? Oh, yes, yes. The staff only reacted now. Demon God Battle Team, level 40 Silver Soul Battle Team. After entering the Silver Soul Battle Team, they have won 31 out of 46 battles. They have killed 63 opponents in total. They have injured 98 opponents and are known as the lethal weapon of the Silver Soul Battle Team. Most Silver Soul Battle teams don't want to meet them because their fighting style is too ferocious. The master nodded with satisfaction. Okay, then we will challenge this Demon God Battle Team. Our battle team is called the Shrek 7 Ace Battle Team. A total of 9 members will fight. Flanders said hesitantly, but is this good? The master said indifferently, Flanders, this is also a kind of experience. One day, the 7 of them will have to face such a situation, do you think? When they face such a situation, it's better to have us by their side to guide them. Or should we let them bear it themselves? As for Light Rain, you don't have to worry. He might have killed a lot of people. Oscar said softly, Master, are you sure? You want us to challenge a level 40 battle team? Although our martial souls and soul rings are not bad, the gap between our levels and soul rings is too big. It's impossible for us to win. Moreover, it's the most ferocious level 40 battle team. Dai Mubai said coldly, so what if they are level 40? It's not necessarily impossible for us to win. Moreover, we could get 10 times the points by challenging someone of a higher level. If we win, each of us will get 1,000 points. This is a shortcut. Ma Hongjun said, Boss Dai, you're already at rank 38. It's easy for you to say that. I'm only at rank 28. I'm 2 soul rings away from rank 40. How can I fight such a soul power? Third brother, what do you think? Tang San frowned and shook his head. He was also thinking about the master's intention. There are 2 possibilities. One is to challenge someone of a higher level. The other is to kill. Tang Yu said. Everyone was silent. Kill. They would rather believe that the master taught them to challenge someone of a higher level than kill. Kill. What a long-lost feeling. On the other hand, Tang Yu had a strange and scary smile on his face. Ha ha ha. Is he going to kill someone? He didn't know why, but when he heard the word kill, he became very restless. It was no wonder, after all, he had fused with that thing. Everyone was ready to start meditating to maintain their soul power in the best state, but the master stopped them. No need to meditate. I have something to say to you. Shrek 7 and the Ace team looked at the master. The master said lightly, Are you curious? Why did I make such a decision to let you participate in such a dangerous soul battle? Shrek 7 looked at each other. They nodded. The master said, With your strength, you may not be able to defeat a level 40 opponent. The reason why I made such a decision is to fulfill Flanders's wish. At the same time, it's also to let you test your own weapons in this soul battle. I allow you to use the hidden weapons made by Tang San. Tang San, you're the most familiar with your hidden weapons. You'll be the one to mobilize them. Tang San hesitated for a moment. But teacher, if that's the case, Grandmaster interrupted Tang San. The team I've chosen is a brutal one. You don't need to have any psychological burden. Remember, your opponents are stronger than you. If you want to defeat them, you have to catch them off guard. You can't give them any chance to turn the tables. Do you understand? Although Tang San didn't know why the master did this, he still chose to believe in his teacher. He nodded. Teacher, I understand. In light rain, the master looked at Tang Yu. Tang Yu walked towards him, and the master said something in his ear. Tang Yu was stunned at first. Then he revealed a charming smile. However, everyone felt that it was the smile of a devil. I got it, Tang Yu said. Everyone was curious. What did the master say? Perhaps only Tang Yu knew. If you really can't do it, I'll allow you to kill. In the dream world, the white-haired little boy looked at the clouds. From the clouds, he could see the outside world. He looked at Tang Yu's appearance, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Killing, destroying, ending life. This is the power of destruction and termination. If you want to master this power, you have to keep killing people. Kill the people you want to kill. Don't let me down. My second life. But Zheng Tai frowned slightly. Some things have actually mixed in, playing with the life and death of anything in their hands and controlling the power of the dead creatures. The only person who can do this is... He looked behind him and said, Hey, did you do it? Suddenly, a person appeared behind the child. It was a handsome man in a gray robe and gray hair. Yo, you're finally willing to show up. I thought you were going to hide for a long time. I say, you integrated the destruction origin power into his body. Is this really good for him? Aren't you afraid that he won't be able to bear it and self-destruct? He's my... The gray-haired man said to Zheng Tai. Disciple matters, right? He's my second life. Didn't you still fuse your power of origin into his body? Who knows what will happen to him in the future? Let's not talk about this first. I really want to know, how did you come here? Could it be that she asked you to come here? The gray-robed man was silent for a while. Yes, she still loves you. Zheng Tai was stunned. He smiled slightly, and his eyes were full of gentleness. Really? That stupid woman. Really? You should go back. For her sake, I won't argue with you about life and death. You created this ill-fated relationship yourself. There are so many of them. The gray-robed man sighed, looked at Tang Yu again, and disappeared. If Tang Yu was here, he would be very surprised, because the gray-robed man was Electrolux. The master habitually sent Shrek 7 to the entrance of the soul fighting team on the side of the soul fighting arena. Finally, he exhorted, Remember, your opponents are all vicious people. They have killed a lot of people. Don't hold back. Kill them as quickly as possible. Do you understand? If there are any unexpected changes, immediately jump off the soul fighting arena. It's better to admit defeat than to suffer any injuries. Tang San nodded to the master and said, Teacher, don't worry. We won't lose. If worst comes to worst, I'll just kill them all as soon as they go up. Tang Yu had a smile on his face, and his tongue stuck out to lick his lips. Everyone instantly shuddered. Light Rain's appearance was really... At this moment, a hand was placed on Tang Yu's shoulder. You, are you okay? Wang Dong looked at Tang Yu worriedly. Oh, I should be fine. Tang Yu shook his head vigorously. You're still saying you're fine. Didn't you notice that you've become different recently? Wang Dong still didn't let go. Don't worry. I'm fine. Tang Yu patted Wang Dong's shoulder and smiled slightly. Wang Dong didn't say anything. Usually, if he said he was fine, he would definitely be fine. Okay, everyone get ready. Okay, on the stage, Shrek 7 saw their opponents with a single glance. Even though the battle hadn't started, their opponents' ferocious auras were already rushing towards them. Shrek 7 didn't know exactly how many people there were in the Demon God Battle team. In fact, there were only 9 of them. However, The 7 people on the stage were clearly the strongest 7 of their opponents. They were also the 7 people that the information they'd received previously. The team leader was the Berserk Bear Soul Master, Mengli. The other 6 were all Battle Soul Masters. This Demon God Battle team was actually a team made up entirely of Assault-type Battle Soul Masters. This was also the main reason why their attack power was so shocking. The 7 people from the Demon God Battle team all looked to be around 30 years old. They were all tall and strong, and their eyes revealed a bloodthirsty glow. As they walked toward the center of the soul fighting arena, they clenched their fists, and their bones emitted bone-chilling, cracking sounds. In terms of aura, this team could be said to be the strongest that Shrek 7 had ever met. The bloodthirsty aura that the 7 people from the Demon God Battle team emitted was definitely not something that the Emperor team could compare to. This was an aura that could only be produced from continuous killing. Looking at the bloodthirsty glow in their eyes, it was as if one could smell the blood on their bodies. It was very obvious that they were telling everyone, "We've killed before. Tear them apart. Kill them." Countless arrogant shouts made the Demon God Battle team even more arrogant. TSK. Tang Yu glanced at the Demon God Battle team and the audience in disgust. Oscar lowered his voice and asked Dai Mubai, "Boss Dai, if they really charge over with the help of Rong Rong's soul skill, will you be able to block them?" Dai Mubai replied almost without hesitation, "I won't be able to block them." Your head. Do you have so little confidence in our strength?" Xiao Wu said unhappily. Oscar chuckled and said, "It's not that I don't have confidence. I'm just afraid of what might happen. I'm a good young man, handsome and unrestrained, distinguished and elegant, a jade tree in the wind." "All right, everyone get ready." Tang San's voice interrupted Oscar in time. Shrek and 7 dragons flipped their wrists at the same time. Each of them took out a soul tool or something that was about a foot long. It was an inconspicuous black box. One end of the black box was silently facing their opponents. "In a while, you guys directly use the Zhuge Divine Crossbow. I'll finish them off." Tang Yu took out a blood-red stone and said with a smile. Everyone shuddered again. It felt like light rain had changed. The host who flew into the air shouted, "Yes, team of fighting souls. Shrek and 7 dragons battle team. Challenging the Demon God Battle team. Soul duel begins." Almost at the same time, the host said the last word. One person from each side also shouted loudly. Those from the Demon God Battle team exhaled loudly. Naturally, it was their captain, the Berserk Bear Soul Master, Mengli. Tear them apart. On Shrek 7's side, it was Tang San who shouted. His words were much more concise, with only one word. Release. The black box had already been lifted up. Under the bright lights of the great soul dueling arena, it did not reflect any light. The moment the Demon God Battle team rushed out, all the members had already activated their first soul skill. They pounced over like wolves and tigers. That thunderous momentum was like 10,000 horses galloping. At this moment, all the members of the Demon God Battle team heard a strange sound, like the clanging of metal, accompanied by a buzzing sound. It was as if they had poked a hornet's nest. Buzz. 7 Zhuge Divine Crossbows. A total of 112 crossbow bolts. They pierced through the air. A large black shadow danced like a swarm of bees. Puff, 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 accompanied by a series of strange sounds. The audience, who were shouting crazily, seemed to have their throats cut at the same time. At that moment, the entire arena was dead silent. Under that frightening silence, a huge cloud of blood mist blossomed like fireworks in the main soul dueling arena. The members of the Demon God Battle team even rushed forward a few meters under the influence of their forward momentum. That instantaneous speed was so fast that they could not even react in time. Ding, 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 ding. Dense explosive sounds appeared behind the Demon God Battle team. On the wall of the main soul dueling arena, pitch-black crossbow bolts were densely nailed to the wall. The members of the Demon God Battle team finally stopped in their tracks. The blood mist and fireworks were emitted from their bodies. The audience was not the only ones who were stunned. Even Shrek 7 was stunned. Of course, other than Tang Yu and Wang Dong, who had killed many people in the past. But it was not over yet. Ha ha, I'm still breathing. Tang Yu laughed evilly, dragging the life guardian sword behind her. The blade of the sword scraped against the ground as she slowly walked towards the demon god battle team. The audience immediately held their breaths. The seven monsters and Wang Dong had originally wanted to stop Tang Yu, but they discovered that they were actually unable to move. If one looked closely, all 8 of them had golden needles pierced into the same acupoint. Acupoint fixation. Tang, San said in surprise. Everyone was shocked. They could only watch as Tang Yu walked towards the demon god battle team. His aura suddenly changed. This was the aura of slaughter. The blood-red stone in his hand had unknowingly turned into a blood-red battle scythe. Russell, the game has begun. End. Chapter 12. Everyone was shocked when they saw Tang Yu rush into the poisonous fog. Light rain. The 7 freaks were worried. On the other side, a person looked at the sky in shock. Isn't that Grandpa's martial soul, true body? Isn't that Tang Yu? She was Tang Yu. He actually rushed into Grandpa's poisonous fog. Is he tired of living? Dugu Yin was worried. Tang Yu had promised Yi Lingling that he would save her family. Moreover, Yi Lingling seemed to have a good impression of Tang Yu. If Tang Yu died, Yi Lingling would be heartbroken. She looked at her companions beside her. Everyone's faces were tense, especially Yi Lingling. She looked like she was about to cry. To be able to force me to use my martial soul, true body. Little brat, your death is glorious. Sigh, what a pity for a peerless genius. Dugabo was suddenly stunned. That was because his poisonous fog was actually freezing at a rapid speed. Ka. In less than 3 seconds, the poisonous fog had already turned into a huge block of ice. Dugabo was shocked. Even the people on the ground were shocked. The poisonous fog was actually frozen. The 3 chief disciples were also shocked. This was because even though they had never experienced the poison of a tidal deluge before, they had heard that Dugubo's poison had once turned the grassland into a world of poison. Even Prince Dugubo and Avalanche's expressions had turned extremely ugly. They had kicked an iron plate. Ka. Boom. The ice block exploded. The icy fog dispersed, revealing Tang Yu floating in the air. He spread his dragon wings and looked at Dugubo's shocked face with a smile. I won. Dugabo looked at Tang Yu in surprise. Tang Yu landed on the ground and said to the 7 freaks, "Let's go. Since this place doesn't want us, let's leave." Everyone was stunned and smiled. They didn't want to stay here any longer. Tang Yu looked at Yi Lingling in the distance and smiled. Then, he followed the others to the exit. Seeing Shrek and the rest walking towards the exit, Tang Yu turned back and said coldly to the prince, "Remember, don't forget, I am from Shrek." Damn it. The prince clenched his teeth and looked at Dugabo again. Why didn't you kill him? Do you know how embarrassed I was just now? Dugabo Xing gave a disdainful snort. I Dugabo Xing am upright. A loss is a loss. Also, remember, I'm not your subordinate. Don't speak to me in a commanding tone. Besides, it's none of my business if you embarrass yourself. In the end, he gave the Grand Prince a cold look. The Grand Prince trembled. He couldn't afford to provoke this old poison. At this moment, a delicate young girl ran in from outside. Grandpa, as soon as she entered the door, she pounced on Dugabo, who was standing there. Dugabo, who had a gloomy expression on his face earlier, saw her, and his expression instantly softened. He reached out and pulled the young girl into his embrace, laughing out loud. Haha, Yin not bad. Your strength has improved again. Duguyin looked at Tang Yu, who was walking away. Grandpa, just now you... Ha. It's just that I lost a bet with a junior. Duguyin looked at Tang San and Tang Yu, who had walked away. She seemed to have thought of something. Grandfather, I have something to say to you. Oh, as for the 3 chief seats, I'm sorry, I think I have to leave the academy. The one who spoke was Qinming. At this moment, his face was filled with grief and indignation. His teacher was humiliated, but he didn't have the strength to erase this humiliation. This was a painful thing, but no matter what, he wouldn't allow himself to stay. No matter how good the treatment here was, in his heart, it would never be able to compare to the Shrek Academy of the past. The three teachers were shocked at the same time. Even Prince Shueshing was stunned. Qin Ming's position in the Imperial Academy was much higher than what Flanders and the others knew. It could be said that he was second only to the three teachers. After all, according to the Martial Soul Palace's records, he was one of the youngest people who had reached the 60th rank. He was definitely a rare talent. The three teachers had always been sure that Qin Ming would become another titled Doloa before the age of 60. The emergence of a titled Doloa was not only important to the Academy, but also to the entire Heaven Do Empire. It was also extremely important. At this moment, Prince Shueshing finally regretted his decision. Of course, he wouldn't say anything at this moment. Otherwise, he would be slapping himself in the face. The Dream Shinji hurried forward and stopped Qin Ming. Mr. Qin, we can't do this. Let's discuss this matter in detail first. Today's incident. We will definitely report this matter to His Majesty and ask him to uphold justice. Qin Ming shook his head. His eyes were filled with determination. This is the Heaven Do Imperial Academy. After all, it belongs to the royal family. Since the royal family hates us from the Shrek Academy, how could Qin Ming still have the face to stay? Qin Ming appreciated the good intentions of the three education committee members. When Qin Ming first came, he was dressed in black. Today, he was still dressed in black. Take care of yourselves. Qin Ming will remember your care over the years. He will repay you in the future. Goodbye. He didn't give the three education committee members a chance to persuade him to stay. He circulated his soul power, and in a flash, he had already chased after the departing Shrek group out of the education committee hall. The Dream Shinji stomped his foot. He roared at Prince Shueshing. Your Highness, are you stupid? Do you know what kind of talents those people are? You. He had promised the people from the Shrek Academy that he wouldn't tell them that Tang San had an external soul bone. Right now, his soul power was unstable. Prince Shueshing said, since things have come to this, there's no point in saying anything more. If the three of you are willing to complain to His Majesty, I have nothing to say. Goodbye. After saying this, he brought Avalanche and headed outside. But he didn't call for Dugu Bo ever since Dugu Yin said something to him. Dugu Bo's expression didn't look too good. He looked in the direction that Shrek and the others had left. No one knew what he was thinking. The people from the Shrek Academy didn't say anything as they went down the mountain. Qin Ming quickly caught up and walked behind Flanders without saying a word. But from his ashen face, one could see how bad his mood was. After going down the mountain, they saw the clear lake at the foot of the mountain again. But right now, Shrek and the others weren't in the mood to enjoy the scenery. Dean, why don't we expand the Shrek Academy? Dai Mubai spoke. Flanders stopped and looked up at the sky. Even though the sun was shining brightly, his heart was cold. Dai Mubai said, I can understand why you didn't want to accept light rain and my sponsorship. But at this time, even if we want to fight for our dignity, we can't just give up. Don't worry, I won't use my family's money to sponsor the academy. The seven of us are Shrek 7, Light Rain, and Wang Dong, our trump card team. Naturally, we should do something for our Shrek Academy. We can participate in the Soul Dueling Tournament. With our Golden Battle Soul team's current level, we can definitely bring in enough income for the academy. Let's expand the academy. One day, we'll make the Heaven Do Imperial Academy regret what they did today. The Great Master sighed and grabbed Flanders' shoulder. Flanders, I'm sorry. This is my fault. Flanders shook his head. It has nothing to do with you. We were just unlucky. I don't know why, but I don't have the mood to rebuild the academy. Maybe it's because I've been too tired these past few years. Zhao Wuji asked. Then what should we do now? Ning Rongrong said, why don't we go to my family's castle? It's not far from our 7 treasures glazed sect. Flanders shook his head. Forget it. I don't want to feel like living under someone else's roof. Rongrong, thank you for your kindness. Ning Rongrong said anxiously, Dean, don't worry. My family won't be like the Heaven Do Academy. You know that our 7 treasures glazed sect welcomes any soul master. If anyone dares to say anything to you, I won't let them off. Isn't it just a poisoned Doluo? Oomph. When I go back, I'll ask Uncle Jian and Uncle Bones to beat him up. Flanders's unfocused eyes gradually focused. He knew that his decision didn't just affect himself. It also affected the Shrek Academy's teachers and the children in front of him. He calmed himself down and assumed the bearing of a dean. How about this? Since we came from afar, we'll rest in the Heaven Do Empire's capital. As for our next move, we'll discuss it later. At this moment, Qin Ming suddenly stepped forward and knelt in front of Flanders and the others. Dean, it's my fault. Please punish me. Flanders hurriedly helped him up. Qin Ming, what are you doing? How can I not know how you feel about Shrek? The fact that you're willing to come with us is enough to prove that you've always placed Shrek Academy in the highest position. That's enough. The one who should be apologizing is me. We're the ones who ruined your future. Qin Ming laughed bitterly. Future? If not for the teacher's guidance, how would I have a future? I have hands and legs. Can I survive after leaving Heaven Do Academy? I'll take everyone to Heaven Do City. I agree with what Junior Dai said. I think we should reopen Shrek Academy. Dean, Shrek Academy will always be our home. None of us want to see it end like this. If you're tired, we can help you support the academy. Flanders nodded and looked at the other teachers. Let's go. We'll find a place to stay in Heaven Do City. I don't know if you believe me. Tang Yu suddenly interjected. Everyone looked at Tang Yu. Light Rain, what are you trying to say? Come with me. We're going to an academy. Light Rain, what academy is that? Haha, Lanba Advanced Academy. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was shocked, especially Flanders. Heaven Do Imperial Academy was very close to Heaven Do City. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the capital of the Heaven Do Empire. From afar, they could already see the city's flag fluttering in the wind. As one of the 2 largest and most prosperous cities on the continent, Heaven Do City's city walls were 100 meters tall and made of the toughest granite. Soldiers patrolling the city walls were fully armored and wielded long spears. One could tell from the austere aura they exuded. The city gates were 10 meters tall and 10 meters wide. It was wide enough for 6 riders to walk side by side. There were 2 side gates at the side, each 5 meters tall and wide. Pedestrians could only enter through the side gates. The main gate in the center was tightly shut. Shrek Academy's group arrived at the city gates. Just as they were about to enter the city, they saw a huge announcement on the bulletin board next to the city gates. Recruitment. Lanba Advanced Soul Academy, due to its expansion, is now recruiting the following people. 10 soul ancestors rank 40 and above. This is the Lanba Advanced Academy that Light Rain was talking about. Flanders said, Yes, it's here. Let's go. Maybe there'll be a surprise. Tang Yu looked at Grandmaster and smiled. Everyone was puzzled. Grandmaster, too. What kind of academy was this? And this name, Lanba. Tang Yu said, This academy's teaching is very strict. Furthermore, it only accepts commoners. It rejects all nobles. I like this rule, but if it didn't have a background, it wouldn't have been able to gain a foothold in Heaven Do City. There must be a power behind it. Everyone was stunned. Are we really going in? Everyone was still hesitating. Don't worry. Let's go in. Once we enter, maybe the academy will change its name. Tang Yu smiled mysteriously. Everyone was puzzled. When they arrived at the entrance of Lanba Academy, Qi Ming immediately found a reception area next to the gate. It said that they were looking for applicants. Are you all here to sign up as academy teachers? The person in charge of the reception was a middle-aged soul master who looked to be in his 40s. His question was mainly directed at Shrek 7 and the Ace combo. After all, these children were only in their teens. Flanders said, No, we're the ones who signed up. These children are our disciples. If we can successfully apply here, our disciples also hope to be able to study in the academy. The reception teacher said, Students need to go through an assessment to enter the academy. How about this? All the soul masters will take our assessment first. If you can become an academy teacher, I think your disciples can also enter the academy to attend classes. After all, It's already past the registration period for new students, and your disciples are a little young. Generally speaking, even outstanding Soul Masters could only enter an Advanced Soul Master Academy when they were at least 16 to 18 years old. The general situation was 20 years old. Tang San and the others looked to be only 13 years old. There's no problem with the assessment. Where is it? The reception teacher had been waiting here for a few days. There were very few Soul Masters who came sign up. After all, the treatment of becoming a teacher in a Soul Master Academy couldn't be compared to relying on a big family. That was the best way out for a high-ranked Soul Master. There were at least 7 teachers who came to sign up. So how could he not take it seriously? He hurriedly said, "I'll take you to take the assessment." The 3 of them walked to the inner side of the hall and stopped. The leader said, "All the Soul Masters who want to take the assessment, please take the assessment one by one. Who will go first?" Everyone looked at Flanders. Flanders smiled and waved to Qin Ming, saying, "Little Ming, you go first." Qin Ming nodded and walked forward. He asked the 3 Soul Masters, "May I ask, how do we conduct the assessment?" The Soul Master who spoke before said, "Please release your martial soul. As long as you are above rank 40, you will pass if you can last 10 minutes against one of us." Qin Ming was already holding back his anger because of what happened at Heaven Do Imperial Academy. He didn't restrain his aura at all and directly released his martial soul. In an instant, the atmosphere in the hall seemed to become heavy. The 3 teachers from Lanba Academy, standing opposite Qin Ming, swayed at the same time. They couldn't help but reveal looks of horror on their faces. The 3 teachers in charge of the assessment were all Soul Kings over rank 50. The other party had just released his martial soul, but his aura was already so oppressive that they had a reaction. This could only prove that this young Soul Master was stronger than them. Immediately after, a yellow flame appeared on Qin Ming's body. Accompanied by a low roar, the muscles under his clothes suddenly swelled, causing his originally loose outer clothes to become tight. His eyes turned yellow at the same time. A total of 6 soul rings emerged from his feet at the same time. 2 yellow, 3 purple, and 1 black soul ring. Although it wasn't the best soul ring combination, 6 soul rings appearing at the same time still gave the 3 Lanba Academy teachers a great shock. Qin Ming said in a deep voice, "Rank 62 Blazing Ash Wolf Soul Emperor." Qin Ming. Assault System. Rank 62? The 3 examiners couldn't help but take 2 steps back in front of the bright yellow flames on Qin Ming's body to avoid the sharp edge. Qin Ming raised his right hand and made an inviting gesture. "Who would like to advise me?" "Advise? Advise my ass." Rank 50 against a rank 60 Assault System Soul Master with a mutated martial soul. Was there even a need to fight? There's no need for a combat assessment. The Academy has a rule that Soul Masters above rank 60 are exempt from the additional tests. The Lanba Academy's examiner secretly wiped his sweat. He thought to himself, "Today's a powerful one." Qin Ming withdrew his martial soul and retracted his aura. Everything returned to normal. Flanders said, "Since rank 60 and above doesn't require additional tests, we don't need to waste any more time. Brothers, activate your soul rings." Immediately, the 3 examiners were dumbfounded. Rank 63 Dragon Pattern Staff, Soul Emperor, Liu Song, Assault System. Rank 66 Xingluo Chess, Soul Emperor, Lu Qibin, Control System. Rank 70 Candy Tool, Soul Sage, Xiao Xin, Food System. Rank 76 Herculean Bear, Soul Sage, Zhao Wuji, Assault System. Rank 78 Cat Eagle Battle, Soul Sage, Flender, Agility Type. The 3 teachers in charge of the evaluation were completely stunned at this moment. A total of 7 Soul Masters had come. Other than one who hadn't revealed his strength, the remaining 6 were all at least rank 60. The numerous soul rings in front of them made their eyes blur. If not for Flanders and the others deliberately restraining themselves from releasing too much soul power, the 3 Lanba Academy teachers probably wouldn't be able to stand still. "Is that enough?" Flanders' voice carried a few strands of soul force that startled the 3 Soul Masters back to their senses. Of course we're done." Seniors, please withdraw your martial souls. The three of them clearly became respectful. Tang Sin stood in the Shrek 7 and thought to himself as he watched the scene in front of him. In this world, strength was still the most important thing. Previously at the Heaven Do Imperial Academy, the title de law had suppressed the Shrek Academy's teachers to the point that they couldn't do anything. Even Dean Flanders had restrained himself and didn't make a move. At this moment, the strength of the Shrek Academy's teachers had also shocked the Lanba Academy. Strength was indeed the most important thing. Taking a deep breath, the leading teacher from the Lanba Academy said respectfully, Shu. I'm a rank 54 Assault System Soul Master. I'm unable to assess your ranks. How about this? I'll bring you to see our dean, and she'll decide your ranks and treatment. When he mentioned the dean, no one saw Tang Yu smile slightly. The three Lanba Academy teachers led by Shu walked in front. After exiting the Spire building, they directly walked along a small path to the back of the academy. Soon, they entered the forest outside the main campus. The master asked doubtfully, Doesn't your dean live in the campus? Shu said, The dean isn't usually in the academy. She prefers quiet. She lives alone in the forest. The daily affairs of the academy are handled by the teachers. Only major matters need to be consulted by the dean. When the dean was mentioned, Shu's eyes revealed sincere respect. It was completely from the bottom of her heart. So that's how it is. The master didn't ask any more questions, but for some reason, he still had an uneasy feeling in his heart. After walking for about 10 minutes, everyone was moving forward in the forest with fresh air. 3, 2, 1, sing. Tang Yu murmured at the end. Suddenly, a faintly discernible singing voice came faintly from the front. The singing voice was tactful and pleasant to listen to, with hidden bitterness lingering. It sounded like weeping and complaining, making one's heart ache. The melody reverberated back and forth. It was incomparably gentle and beautiful. It's hard to sleep at night. What can be used to numb it? There are too many emotions. How can I face it? It's not that I don't want you to accompany me, but there are some things you can't understand. I put down my guard and followed alone. I want a space of my own. I can think about the tomorrow between us. If love is not as sweet as we think, then let me bear all the sins. My heart is too messy. I need some blanks. If you understand, let me leave temporarily. My heart is too messy. I dare not covet more love. I want to cry, but I can't cry. My heart is too messy. I need some blanks. God, did you forget to arrange it for me? My heart is too messy. I'm afraid of the betrayal of love. I want to cry. I'm like a lost child. A lost child. The singing voice faded away quietly. Flanders and the master, who were walking at the front, had already stopped when the song sounded. At this time, Flanders, his expression looked a little strange. The master was already in tears. The melodious female voice slowly came. This song was written by you for me. Shao Gang, do you know? My heart is too messy. Where are you? Seeing the strange expressions of Flanders and the master, everyone couldn't help but stop in surprise. Suddenly, the master turned around and was about to run back the way he came. However, he realized that there was a golden needle in his body, and he couldn't move. Teacher, do you still want to run away? Tang Yu said solemnly. Everyone looked at Tang Yu, not knowing what he was talking about. Sigh, Shao Gang, since she's here, and we're already here, are you really not going to see her? Flanders said. The master looked at Tang Yu. Light rain, did you already know? Tang Yu nodded, indicating that he was right. Hee, no wonder. Lanba Academy, Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, Blue Lightning Tyrant Sect. I should have thought of it. The master smiled bitterly. Tang Yu touched the space between his eyebrows. Teacher, don't let my peek into the future go to waste. Yes, before leaving Shrek, Tang Yu used his Destiny Spirit eyes to peek into the future once. The master revealed a serious look of struggle. At this moment, the pain in his heart was no less than the pain of Tang San's body maturing when he absorbed the man-faced demon spider's soul ring. After running away for 20 years, he finally had to face it again today. Furthermore, He was facing it in a situation where he wasn't mentally prepared at all. What kind of feeling was that? Flanders's hand on a master's shoulder was firm and strong. He said in a deep voice, "Xiao Gang, do you still want her to wait for you for 20 years?" The master was hesitant. After that, his eyes became slightly determined. Crack! Tang Yu pulled out the golden needle. The master could move again, and he took a step with difficulty. Light rain. Master, what? The seven monsters and Wang Dong were puzzled. Sigh. It's hard to go against heaven's will. Master and her are really ill-fated. However, whether or not she can become a source of fortune will depend on Master. Tang Yu said meaningfully. Everyone was still puzzled. However, Wang Dong seemed to have thought of something. Light rain. Don't tell me. Yes. The golden iron triangle has gathered today. The seven monsters were shocked. The golden iron triangle had gathered. After walking for a few hundred meters, the forest gradually thinned out. There was a sign hanging on an exceptionally thick tree. There was a line of words engraved on it. Restricted area of the academy. Entry prohibited. After passing through this tree, the scenery in front of them immediately changed. There was a small lake, and the diameter of the lake was less than 50 meters. A small stream that was about 3 meters wide quietly poured water into the lake from the other side of the forest and then flowed back into the lake. As a result, this place, which was supposed to be a pool, was always filled with running water. There was a simple and crude thatched cottage beside the lake. It was built with wooden planks and straw, and it completely blended in with its surroundings. There was a fence around the thatched cottage, and all kinds of flowers and plants were planted within the fence. They were competing to bloom, and they were colorful and beautiful. A woman was standing in the middle of the flowers and plants. She was holding a kettle in her hand as she watered the flowers. Perhaps it was because she heard the sound of footsteps, but her gaze unconsciously turned towards the direction of the group from Shrek Academy. She seemed to be frowning because the tranquility of this place had been disturbed. However, when her gaze passed through the 3 Lamba Academy Soul Masters and landed on Flanders and the master behind them, her entire body instantly stiffened. She loosened her grip, and the kettle fell to the ground with a bang. She had completely forgotten about the kettle as it flowed. It was a beautiful woman who looked to be in her 30s. She wore a simple green cloth skirt, but couldn't conceal her charm. Her green hair was tied up with a cloth handkerchief, and her somewhat pale face was exquisite and moving. Her eyebrows were picturesque, and although her large black eyes had sunk into a daze, they were still extremely spirited. Under the cloth gown were unconcealable peaks. Her mature and plump charm was definitely not something an ordinary girl could hope to achieve. Xiao Gang, is it really you? Am I dreaming? The gentle voice asked twice. Her pleasant voice was currently trembling violently, and tears flowed uncontrollably down her pale face. She had already sunk into an extreme state of excitement. The master's eyes were red as he looked at the woman in front of him who he yearned for day and night, but didn't dare to meet. His lips trembled, but he couldn't say a single word for a long time. In the end, it was Flanders who sighed softly. Our so-called golden iron triangle finally meets again today. Second dragon sister, we haven't seen each other for many years. How have you been? He was also sighing inwardly. In front of him, she still only had Xiao Gang in her eyes. The beautiful woman's unfocused eyes finally focused, as she turned to Flanders with an indescribable emotion in her eyes. Boss Flanders, we haven't seen each other for many years, but you're still the same. Flanders laughed bitterly. I'm old, but you're still as elegant as ever. Come, let me introduce you. These are the teachers and students of Shrek Academy. They accidentally saw your recruitment notice. I didn't expect this to be your territory. We're here to make a living. After skipping over the Grandmaster, Flender introduced the teachers from Shrek Academy to the beautiful woman. Finally, he said to everyone from Shrek Academy, "This is Lu Erlong. Perhaps you've heard of her before. She was with me and the Grandmaster back then, and we roamed the world of Soul Masters. She was the last member of our Golden Iron Triangle. This name sounded a little strange, but the people of Shrek Academy didn't dare to slight her. Tang Yu and Wang Dong had a smile on their faces the entire time. They all stepped forward to greet her. Lu Erlong collected her emotions, wiped away the tears in her eyes, and politely returned the greeting. Second Dragon Sister, aren't you going to invite us in? Flanders said with a smile. Seeing Lu Erlong again, the master wasn't the only one whose heart swayed. How could he not feel the same? However, he could only bury this feeling deep in his heart. Lu Erlong laughed bitterly. Boss Fu, do you think my straw hut can hold so many people? What's going on with you guys? Since when have you fallen to such a state? He laughed bitterly and gave a simple explanation of what had happened. After hearing Flanders say that the people of Shrek Academy had been chased out of Heaven Do Imperial Academy, Lu Erlong's eyes flashed with a dense, killing intent. Good, what a Heaven Do Imperial Academy. Boss Fu, don't say anything else. Isn't my place yours? This Blue Tyrant Academy is completely under my control. How about this? Everyone, stay here. This will be your place in the future. Flanders glanced at the zombie-like master beside him and joked. Our standards are very high. Can you handle it? Lu Erlong smiled and said, Boss Fu, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's not a question of whether I can bear it or not. You should be the one asking the questions. You're the boss of our Golden Iron Triangle. From now on, this academy is yours. Tomorrow, I'll hold a teacher-student meeting to announce this decision. At the same time, the name of the academy will be changed to Shrek. Let me bask in the glory of your Shrek Academy. Everyone was shocked. After that, Shrek and the others turned their heads to Tang Yu at the same time and looked at Tang Yu as if they were looking at a monster. Tang Yu laughed embarrassedly. Everyone finally understood what Tang Yu meant when he said that they would have to change their names after entering. Tang Yu's martial soul was too accurate. It was too scary. What's wrong with you guys? Lu Erlong was puzzled. It's like this, Flanders explained. Peek into the future? Lu Erlong looked at Tang Yu in shock. This disciple greets mistress. Tang Yu grinned. Lu Erlong's face suddenly turned red. Master's body trembled slightly. Everyone was shocked. Tang San was shocked. What's going on? Mistress? Could it be that she's master's after a long time? Lu Erlong calmed down and looked at Tang Yu. She clearly hadn't done that with Xiao Gang yet. But this kid called me mistress. Boss Fu also said that he could peek into the future, so he couldn't have seen something in the future. Could it be Xiao Gang and I in the future? The more she thought about it, the redder her face became, but she still held it in. Teacher Inshu, please announce that the Academy's teacher-student assembly will be held tomorrow. These are all my friends. We haven't seen each other for many years, so today we want to catch up. Ask the cafeteria to prepare a sumptuous banquet on the second floor. I want to entertain them. Yes, Principal. Although they still didn't understand the true relationship between Principal Lu Erlong and these people, it was obviously not something the three of them should ask. They hurriedly went back the way they came. Xiao Gang, are you going to keep talking to me like this? Lu Erlong's gaze turned to Master again. The excitement in her eyes didn't disappear. Lu Erlong looked deeply at Master. Xiao Gang, this time, I won't let you escape from me no matter what. Master wanted to say something, but he couldn't say it. Flanders smiled and said, Sister Erlong, although this time was a coincidence, I'll leave him to you. If you let him escape again, I'm afraid you'll never see him again. Time really flies. In the blink of an eye, 20 years have passed. A whole 20 years. Lu Erlong took a deep breath and forced her gaze away from Master. She said to Shrek and the others, This is the first time everyone is here. Let me introduce the Blue Tyrant Academy. Oh no, it should be called the Shrek Academy. This forest is the largest in Heaven Do City, and all of it belongs to the Academy. Although our facilities here aren't as good as the Heaven Do Imperial Academies, they aren't too far off. It's been 10 years since the Academy was founded. Because we only accept commoner soul masters, the quality of our soul masters' martial souls is inferior to that of ordinary advanced soul masters' academies. However, it's also because our students are commoners that they have to cultivate much more diligently than those who come from large clans or aristocratic families. In the previous Soul Master Tournament, we defeated many strong opponents and made it into the top 8. Our results were only slightly worse than the Heaven Do Imperial Academy's first team. Their second team was eliminated by us. After pausing for a moment, Lu Erlong continued. As for how we'll teach them in the future, that's Boss Fu's problem. I've been incompetent as a dean, but I'm finally free now. The Heaven Do Imperial Academy actually dared to chase all of you out. I want to see what they have. I'll see you at next year's Soul Master Tournament. Lu Erlong gave everyone a strange feeling. There was a big difference between her words and her appearance. If she were to change into luxurious clothes, she would look like a noble lady. However, her tone was filled with bravery and ruthlessness. Zhao Wuji, who had some understanding of the Golden Iron Triangle, knew that this coquettish beauty was not simple. Back then, in the Golden Iron Triangle, Flanders was known as the Flying Triangle, Master was known as the Commanding Triangle, and Lu Erlong was known as the Slaughtering Triangle. She abhorred evil and had a fiery temper. She would only restrain herself in front of Master and Flanders. Lu Erlong immediately introduced the Blue Tyrant Academy to everyone. This place was better than they had imagined. Although there were only 200 students in the entire academy, it was well known in the Heaven Do Empire's Soul Master world. Even Soul Masters from noble families couldn't help but admit that the Blue Tyrant Academy was a bowstring to the Soul Master world. It could be said to be the cradle of commoner Soul Masters. Although it had only been open for 10 years, it had already produced many commoner Soul Masters with decent strength. Even a martial Soul Palace hoped to cooperate with the Blue Tyrant Academy. However, they were all rejected by Lu Erlong. All right, it's about time. Let's go eat while we talk. Lu Erlong seemed to have forgotten about Master. In the following period of time, she fully displayed her candid nature. After hosting the Shrek Academy's group for lunch, she explained their doubts one by one. After that, she took everyone on a tour of the Blue Tyrant Academy. Finally, she arranged accommodations for everyone in the Academy's teacher's dormitory. As for the treatment and other such issues, Lu Erlong directly pushed it to Flanders. In any case, from tomorrow onwards, this academy would be changed to Shrek, no longer Blue Tyrant. In this day, from the joy in the morning to the humiliation and anger in the morning, and then to the light at the end of the tunnel. For Shrek's group, their lives were truly too fulfilling. Dinner was not as sumptuous as lunch under Flanders' request, so everyone quickly finished eating. Flanders said, "Everyone is tired today. Let's go back and rest early later. From tomorrow onwards, I'm afraid we'll be busy." Having just arrived at this new environment, whether it was the teachers or the students, they all needed time to adapt. Moreover, Lu Erlong had already pushed the academy directly to Flanders. Regarding this, Flanders didn't stand on ceremony with Lu Erlong. He knew this was his Erlong May's intention. Although he knew that perhaps this was Lu Erlong's compensation for him in her heart, he still couldn't refuse Lu Erlong, just like how he had never been able to refuse her request before. Lil 3, Light Rain, accompany me for a walk. The master didn't dare to meet Lu Erlong's burning gaze. He pushed the table and got up, calling Tang San and Tang Yu out. "Oh," Tang San responded and quickly stood up. He followed the master out. "Sign." Tang Yu sighed, looked at Lu Erlong, and made a gesture of encouragement. After that, he followed Tang San out. Lu Erlong's face turned red again. Flanders' face revealed a trace of a smile. "Aren't you afraid that he'll run away again?" Lu Erlong looked at Flanders. She also smiled, but there was a hint of playfulness in her smile. "Boss Flanders, do you think that if I see him again, there's still a possibility that he'll run away? This time, even if I have to tie him up, I'll tie him on my side. Moreover, Light Rain's peek into the future seems to have seen something. In the forest. Don't you think it's funny? I never thought that the woman I loved so much was actually my cousin." Tears flowed uncontrollably from the master's face. Even if 20 years had passed, The scenes from back then would never fade from his mind. The great joy of marrying the person he loved suddenly turned into great sorrow. What kind of pain was that? The marriage of brother and sister was not tolerated by the world. Tang Sen looked at the master, and his eyes were already a little wet. Yes, the heavens were so unfair to the master. Not only did they deprive him of the powerful martial soul that he should have inherited, they even wanted to destroy the union between him and his lover. Master, do you love Master's wife? Tang Yu suddenly asked. There was a moment of silence. Answer me, Master, do you love her or not? Tang Yu said a little sternly. Love? I still love her. The master spat out a sentence with difficulty. Isn't that right? Master, you still love Master's wife, and Master's wife still loves you. Why do you have to look at other people's faces when you love each other? Tang Yu said seriously. Yes, Master, I agree with Light Rain's words. Is the view of the world really that important? Who said that you were trash? In my heart, you are the most powerful soul master. Knowledge is also power. Who dares to say that their knowledge of martial souls is richer than yours? No one can. Master, you are the best. Annie Erlong has been waiting for you for so many years and did not choose anyone else. How deep is her love for you? If you continue to run away like this, it will only make both of you suffer. Even if you really care about the view of the world, you can still take her far away. The master shook his head in pain. No, that would be too unfair to Erlong, mistress. If you love someone, you don't have to get it. I hope that she can live a happy life. Master, do you think that if you keep running away, do you think Master's wife will be happy? Will she be happy? If you keep running away, you will only hurt her. Tang Yu said very seriously. The master was stunned. After a long time, Tang San said slowly, Master, if Master's wife is happy, why would she sing such a sad song? Why would she cry when she sees you? She doesn't even dare to test you with words for fear of provoking you. Master, your heart is too weak. So what if the view of the world is bad? Annie Erlong is not afraid. What are you afraid of? You should face this with her bravely, break through all obstacles, and walk together with her. Just like your family, prove to everyone that there is nothing wrong with you two being together. Although the blood relationship between cousins is close, is there really no such union? Master, you are not only afraid that Annie Erlong will suffer with you, you also dare not accept this reality. You are inferior. Tang Yu finished Tang San's words. Boom! The master stared blankly at Tang San and Tang Yu. His lips were trembling, but he could not say anything. Although he was as proud as Flanders, although he had a low-level martial soul, he always felt inferior deep in his heart. Flanders and Erlong did not dare to talk about the pain in his heart. At this time, Tang San and Tang Yu's words hit the nail on the head. They are right. Why should I feel inferior? So what if thousands of people say that you are a waste? As long as I, Lu Erlong, think that you are the best, that is enough. Little gang, do you really not understand? If I care about our blood relationship, will I always look for you like this? Will I always be in pain? Lu Erlong suddenly appeared. Tears kept falling from her face. She looked at the master and walked steadily step by step. Her beautiful face was so dazzling. This time, the master finally did not avoid Lu Erlong's gaze. Looking at her step by step, the master's heartbeat was obviously increasing. The demon in his heart was gradually breaking under the impact of the surging emotions. 20 years of suppression could no longer stop the golden love in the depths of his heart. Tang Sen quietly left. Tang Yu looked at the master and said slowly, Love can break the boundary. Liking a person is liking, whether it is a brother or a sister. As long as there is love, there is no problem. It feels so strange. After that, he left with Tang San. At this time, the source was finally found. If it could be resolved, if the master and Lu Erlong really came together, then it would be the best ending for both of them. Somewhere, Light Rain, Tang San suddenly said. Sometimes, I feel you are like an adult, like the reincarnation of an experienced old monster. Tang San looked at Tang Yu and joked. Tang Yu was stunned. His eyes deliberately turned away from Tang San. When Tang San saw Tang Yu like this, he thought, it can't be, right? Light rain can't really be. However, before he continued to think, Tang Yu suddenly said, "Ha ha, it seems that there are a lot of guests tonight. What wind blew you here? Senior Dugu?" Tang San suddenly stopped in surprise. 3 meters in front of them, there was another person who had appeared out of nowhere. It was a person who was covered in green. Green hair, green eyes, green nails, and cold and evil eyes like a poisonous snake. The person who suddenly appeared in front of Tang San and Tang Yu was the title Bo, who had the title of Poison. Tang San subconsciously wanted to activate his martial soul, but Dugu Bo's body was already in front of them in the next moment. Tang San didn't see how he moved, but he felt a wave of dizziness, and then he lost consciousness. He looked at Tang Yu again. Tang Yu raised his hands and said indifferently, "Okay, I'll go with you." However, it was this moment of soul power fluctuation that woke up Erlong, who had just merged into the master's arms not far away. "Who is it?" Lu Erlong's eyes lit up. She suddenly straightened up from the master's arms and looked in the direction of the soul power fluctuation. She could clearly feel the terrifying aura contained in the weak soul power fluctuation. Her figure flashed, and she was already in front of the master. The master was stunned for a moment, and then his expression changed drastically. "Oh no, something might have happened to Light Rain. Let's go and take a look." Lu Erlong naturally held the master's hand and suddenly sped up. Relying on the aura of soul power, they quickly arrived at the place where the incident happened. However, other than the cold air, they did not find any clues. Lu Erlong used her soul power to search with all her might, but she could not find Tang San and Tang Yu's aura. Chapter 13. When Tang San woke up from his coma, he found himself in an unfamiliar place. It seemed to be a cave. Silently channeling the mysterious heaven method, the soul power in Tang San's body gradually condensed. His strength also returned to his body, but he did not move. Master had taught him that the more dangerous the situation was, the more he must remain calm. He must not fall into danger because of his own reckless actions. "Yo, you're finally awake. You little brat." A hoarse voice came from his side. Tang San looked over and saw Dugu Bo sitting not far away from him. Tang Yu was held in his hand and seemed to be unconscious. "You, what do you want to do to Light Rain? Let him go. If anything happens to Light Rain, I will not let you go." Tang San gritted his teeth and stared at Dugu Bo angrily. His pupils actually turned red. There was also a strong, murderous aura around him. Oh, what a strong, murderous aura. You just woke up and you're worried about your brother instead of yourself. It seems like your brother is a good person. Dugu Bo looked at Tang Yu, who was held in his hand. At this time, Tang Yu suddenly opened his eyes and easily broke free from Dugu Bo's hand. He walked towards Tang San and put his right hand around Tang San's neck. "Nonsense. He's my brother. Who else should he worry about if not me?" Light Rain," Tang San said awkwardly. Hee. "I'm sorry, third brother. I just wanted to know if I have a place in your heart. But you really didn't disappoint me." Tang Yu laughed. "Light Rain," Tang San said a little angrily. "I know I'm wrong." Tang Yu's index fingers kept tapping. Looking at Tang Yu's aggrieved look, Tang San almost fell to the ground. When Dugu Bo saw Tang Yu like this, his whole body trembled again. Xiao Shui's classic action. "She's so cute. Well, let's get to the point. Kid, your name is Tang San, right?" Dugu Bo leaned against the stone wall behind him. "Yes." Tang San's answer was very simple. "I heard that you broke my granddaughter's third soul skill and even used poison to control her. Your brother has the legendary ultimate ice, which is a martial soul that no poison can invade his body. I'm not surprised that he was able to freeze my granddaughter's poison. But you, how did you neutralize her snake venom? Just strong alcohol. I'm afraid it's not enough." Tang San said indifferently. "To think that an old monster like you is called the poisonous daw. Don't tell me that you don't even understand the principle of realgar suppressing snake venom. Realgar combined with strong alcohol can completely bring out the properties of realgar, and it can also be burned by flames. Although your granddaughter's third soul skill is very poisonous, it's not impossible to neutralize it. Dugabo suddenly laughed strangely. How many years has it been? How many years has it been since someone dared to talk to me like this? Your brother is the first person who dared to talk to me like this. Kid, you're the second. Aren't you afraid of death? You actually dare to doubt this old man's poison? Do you know that even other titled Doluo would have a change in expression when they talk about my poison? Tang San snorted disdainfully. Your poison? It's just trash. What did you say? Dugabo's eyes suddenly shone with a green light. He raised his hand slightly, and Tang San's body was sent flying by an irresistible force. He smashed heavily against the wall behind him, and the intense pain almost caused him to faint again. At this moment, Tang Yu gently patted Dugabo whoosh. Dugabo's aura was suppressed. Old poison, you better watch your mouth when you talk to my brother. Also, what my big brother said was indeed right. Your poison is trash, Tang Yu said slowly. Dugabo was speechless. Poison couldn't do anything to him. His martial soul, true body, could only gain the upper hand, but it couldn't defeat him. Tang San struggled to get up. He endured the intense pain in his body and straightened his back. Your poison is indeed very powerful, but it's still trash. Poison techniques are used to poison the enemy, but even you've been poisoned by your own poison. Isn't your poison trash? Dugabo was stunned for a moment, but he quickly calmed down. What a joke. My poison can poison myself? This old man is 78 years old this year. I've always been the one to poison others, and no one has ever poisoned me. Dugabo looked coldly at Tang San. Strangely, he didn't attack Tang San this time. Enough. Old poison, your poison is beyond cure. The poison is beyond cure. If you don't give me first aid, you're done for. Tang San continued Tang Yu. Every time it rains, do you feel numb and itchy in your ribs? It'll get stronger, right? It'll happen once at noon and once at midnight. With your current condition, it should last for more than 2 hours each time. Also, every time it's late at night, around the middle of the night, you'll feel a piercing pain in your head and heart. Your entire body will convulse for at least an hour. I don't think I need to describe the excruciating pain you'll feel. If you're not poisoned, why would you have such symptoms? Not only are you poisoned, but the poison has also seeped into your bones, just like Light Rain said. You're hopeless. I'm just curious why you're not dead yet. The poison in your body can't be suppressed by soul power. Dugabo couldn't hold back the shock in his heart and blurted it out subconsciously. How? How did you know? I also want to know how someone like you, who's supposed to die, is still alive. How did you survive until now? Tang Yu asked from the side. Tang San's description was as if he had seen it with his own eyes. This could be said to be Dugubo's biggest secret. Even his closest granddaughter didn't know about it. How could he not be shocked when Tang San said it? The murderous intent in his eyes intensified, and the cold, murderous intent seemed to penetrate Tang San. The title de Luo was too strong. The murderous intent released from Dugubo's body hit Tang San's chest as if it was solid. Tang San cried out and spat out a mouthful of blood. He took 3 steps back before he could stabilize himself. Boom! A figure flew out. It was Dugubo. Who told you to attack? If anything happens to my brother, you and your granddaughter will be hopeless. Tang Yu swung his right hand and said coldly, Cough, cough. What did you say? Dugubo got up and looked at Tang San. He realized that his 8-spider spear had been released. It's an external soul bone. No wonder Yin Yin can't beat you. Dugubo suddenly realized. Don't even think about it. It's completely fused. Tang Yu extinguished Dugubo's greed. That's a pity. Dugubo stared at Tang San with his green eyes. I have to admit that you're stronger than my granddaughter, and even that you Tianheng kid. He then looked at Tang Yu and said, What did you mean when you said that my granddaughter and I can't be saved? I meant it literally. Tang Yu said indifferently. Tang San continued. So what if you kill us? Don't worry. With Light Rain here, he can't kill you. Do you think you'll have a good ending? The symptoms on your body will continue to worsen. Although I don't know how you're able to restrain the poison from acting up, you must have eaten some kind of heaven and earth treasure. And heaven and earth treasure can't help you forever. In a few years, even if you're not poisoned to death, you'll be tortured to death by the pain caused by the poison's backlash. You'll die a worse death than me. Besides, Light Rain also said, your poison will be passed down to your future generations. Your granddaughter is destined to not live past 20 years old. You can cure the poison in my body? Dugabo finally threw away his pride and couldn't help but ask. Tang Sin said indifferently, I won't cure you even if I can. You'll only be worse than me. Just kill me. Maybe you're not afraid of death anymore. After all, it's rare for people to live for 70 years. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that your beautiful granddaughter won't be able to last as long as you. She may not have the perseverance like you to endure the gradually increasing pain. Her poison will only act up more violently than yours because she's been immersed in this poison since she was in her mother's womb. Dugabo snorted disdainfully. Good, then I won't talk nonsense with you. If you can really cure the poison in my granddaughter and me, then not only will I not kill you, but I'll also promise to do 3 things for you. 3 things that won't cross my bottom line. Tang San said indifferently, you won't kill me? Just like what you said just now? Why should I believe you? If you want to kill me, it's just a piece of cake. People like you, biting the hand that feeds you is nothing new. Dugabo was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that the teenager in front of him would be so difficult to deal with. Tang Yu patted Tang San's shoulder and said, don't worry, just trust him for the time being. If he wants to kill you, he'll have to go through me first. As he finished speaking, his eyes turned blood red as he stared coldly at Dugabo. Tang San thought for a moment and said, all right, as long as you swear a poison oath, otherwise I won't believe you. I'm not going to believe you. Sure, as long as you can prove that you can cure my poison, I'll swear. Tang San put away the 8 spider spear on his back. How do you want to prove it? Dugabo restrained the murderous glint in his eyes. Prove that your ability to use poison is better than mine, then I'll believe you. Tang San spread out his hands and said helplessly, I don't have anything. How can I prove that my ability to use poison is better than yours? Dugabo said coldly, that's easy. This is my mansion where all kinds of medicinal herbs are planted. If you want something, you can go and find it yourself. I'll give you 1 day. Within 1 day, you can make all kinds of antidotes by yourself. After 1 day, I'll use 3 kinds of poison on you. As long as you can use your own antidote to resist my poison, it will prove that you have the qualifications to cure my poison. Otherwise, you'll die. Fine. All right. Take me to your herb garden and don't disturb me for 1 day. Tang San patted the dust off his body and calmly agreed to Dugabo's request. Dugabo glanced at him from top to bottom, then looked at Tang Yu. He turned around and walked out of the cave. Follow me. Tang Yu was thinking hard. He felt that the aura here was a little familiar, as if he had been here before. But where was it? He suddenly thought of a place. This can't be, he murmured. After leaving the cave, Tang San realized that they were in a dense forest, and they were currently on a hill about 500 meters high in the forest. Because it was night, they couldn't see much of the scenery outside. Dugabo climbed up the mountain path as if he was walking on flat ground. He seemed to be walking very slowly, but every step he took was more than 10 meters away. Furthermore, the distance between each step was extremely uniform. His entire person seemed to be ascending vertically as he climbed the mountain. Soon, Tang San arrived at the top of the mountain under Dugabo's lead. At this point, Tang San couldn't help but be shocked by the terrain in front of him. In front of him was an inverted cone-shaped col, and the top of the mountain they were at was at the edge of the kernel. Thick heat rose from the col, and the heat was very moist, with a hint of the unique smell of sulfur. There's a hot spring here? Tang San couldn't help but ask in surprise. Dugabo glanced at him. Kid, you know a lot. Tang San said, I can't not even recognize the smell of a hot spring. Is your herb garden at the edge of the hot spring? This is a good place. Hot springs were not suitable for nourishing plants, because they contained too many minerals, but some special plants were different. What they needed was the minerals and heat in the hot spring, and many kinds of highly poisonous plants were like this. Follow me. Dugu Bo stretched his body and directly jumped down from the pitch-black side of the mountain in front of him. Tang Yu carried Tang San and jumped down together. When they reached the bottom of the valley, Tang San and Tang Yu didn't look at Dugu Bo, but looked at the scene in the valley in front of them. To Tang San's surprise, the hot spring in the valley in front of him was different from what he imagined. The hot spring was not big, but it was divided into two. In the oval pool, the hot spring water was milky white and vermilion red. What was even more strange was that although they were in the same pool, they were clearly separated and didn't invade each other, always staying on their own side. The steam that was billowing upwards was produced by the location between the two hot springs. It continued to rise upwards and only slowly dissipated when it reached the mountain pass. Tang Yu's whole body was trembling. This was a tremor of excitement. It's really here. I actually came here. Light rain. What's wrong with you? Tang San saw Tang Yu trembling nonstop. Third brother. This is the ice fire Yin Yang well. What? Tang San was shocked. In fact, he also thought that this might be the ice fire Yin Yang well, but he was surprised that Tang Yu actually knew this place. In the Xiantian treasure records, hidden weapon hunter separations, other than hidden weapons, there was also a section on poisons. Inside, there were records of extremely rare and precious medicines. Some are highly toxic, while others were precious treasures. At the end of this secret record, it recorded in detail the 3 great treasure basins. The so-called treasure basins naturally didn't refer to yellow and white things, but to the treasure basins for medicines. There were also 3 special natural environments. In the environment of the 3 great treasure basins, ordinary plants couldn't grow at all, because ordinary plants couldn't adapt to the special climate, but the 3 great treasure basins were the birthplace of all precious plants. Moreover, it would shorten the growth time of these precious plants by 10 times. Simply put, if a stalk of Ganoderma lucidum grew in any of the 3 great treasure basins for 10 years, it would have the effect of a 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum. The 3 great treasure basins had unique conditions. They were the best places in the world where the spiritual chi of heaven and earth gathered. And the scene in front of them, wasn't it exactly the same as one of the 3 great treasure basins described in the Xiantian treasure record? This is really the ice fire Yin Yang well. Tang San and Tang Yu were so excited that they didn't know what to say. Ice fire Yin Yang well? What are you talking about? Dugabo looked at Tang Yu and Tang San with some doubts. Tang San forced himself to calm down, trying his best not to let himself cheer. It's nothing. I just didn't think that such a good place would exist. If I was only 30% sure that I could cure your poison before, then I'm now 50% sure. Now, with the existence of this ice fire Yin Yang well, my confidence has increased to 50% or 60%. Only 50% or 60%. Dugobo's words immediately revealed a hint of hostility. Brat, have you been lying to me all this time? Tang San said coldly. Do I need to lie to you? Your body has been soaked in the poisonous fog for so many years, and a 50% chance of being cured is already the highest. However, even if it can't be cured, it's enough to relieve the pain in your body. As for your granddaughter, she doesn't even need the help of this ice fire Yin Yang well. I'm also confident that I can cure her. Only then did Dugu Bo's expression become better. He pointed to the surroundings of the ice fire Yin Yang well and said, all of my medicines are planted here. There are all kinds of poisons and tonics. You can use them, but if you dare to destroy my place, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. I'll give you some time. In the morning of the day after tomorrow, if you can't pass my test, then it will be your doomsday. Of course, you can also try to escape. I'm not afraid to tell you that this is a very famous soul beast forest. Other than this mountain that is sealed by my poison array and soul beasts don't dare to enter, there are soul beasts of at least 1,000 years and above outside. If you escape, I don't even need to do anything. The soul beasts will tear you to pieces. Do you think those soul beasts can hurt me? Tang Yu laughed. Dugabo didn't say anything. It was true that Tang San couldn't escape, but that didn't mean that Tang Yu couldn't escape either. But I don't want to leave here. There are so many good things here. Tang Yu laughed. Dugabo was speechless. Remember, don't touch those 2 hot springs. Even I can't withstand the heat and extreme cold there for too long. If you touch them, you'll die. Dugabo left. This is a snow silkworm? The best of the caterpillar fungus, snow silkworm. This is a cinnabar lotus? How can it grow so big? Tang San was pleasantly surprised. Tang Yu was meditating at the side. The cultivation environment here was not bad. Furthermore, in her spiritual consciousness, the star anise said that it could sense itself. At this moment, Tang San's words interrupted Tang Yu's meditation. This is the delicate silk immortal. Tang Yu opened her eyes and saw Tang San staring at a huge pink flower that had no leaves or stems. It was swaying leisurely. Tang Yu walked over and took a look. The delicate silk immortal in front of him was nurtured by the ice-fire yin-yang well and wasn't transplanted here by an old freak. The delicate silk immortal was the nemesis of all poisons. It could neutralize all poisons. It couldn't detoxify, but it could neutralize poisons. The pale pink barrier that Tang San was looking at right now was the area where it could neutralize poisons. This layer of pink couldn't be seen outside the barrier. The delicate silk immortal's fragrance was light and elegant. All poisons were useless in its area, and its fragrance could neutralize all poisons. Furthermore, this aura, it's indeed Yu. Tang Yu smiled. Yu was a 100,000-year-old immortal that Yuhao had encountered when he was searching for the yearning heartbroken grass. All immortal immortals grew very quickly under the nourishment of the yin-yang well. 10,000 years was equivalent to 100,000 years. Back then, it and Xiao Lai had given him a hard time. This is the star anise mysterious ice grass. Ice flower. Tang San exclaimed as he stared at a snow-white octagonal flower. Inside Tang Yu's mind, the octagonal flower suddenly trembled. It's me. It's me. That's me. All right. Everyone knows. You've said it more than 100 times before this. I'm tired of hearing it. Sky Dream said lazily. You don't understand. It won't be long before I'm plucked by Tang San. Tang Yu looked at this small octagonal flower and felt a little sympathetic. It wouldn't be long before it was plucked by his father-in-law. Not long after, Tang San saw a plant that looked like a cabbage, but was completely red. The blazing, delicate apricot. Tang San was shocked. Tang Yu smiled. This guy should be Xiao Lai. After that, Tang San plucked the octagonal flower and Xiao Lai and swallowed them together. After that, he jumped into the ice-fire yin-yang well. Tang Yu slapped his forehead. He was speechless. Even though he knew that Tang San would be fine, this was really... Tang Yu walked towards the well, took off his clothes, and jumped in as well. However, he didn't show any signs of pain. He found Tang San and pulled him out of the water, allowing him to float. After that, he sighed. I actually need to cultivate my ice-fire golden body. Then, he looked down again and frowned. After that, he dived again. Tang Yu felt that the bottom of the well was a little strange. At night, 3 people were approaching the bottom of the well. Tang Yu was shocked. He realized that the bottom of the ice-fire yin-yang well couldn't see the end. It can't be right. Isn't this a hot spring? There should be a bottom. Tang Yu couldn't care less. He continued to swim deeper and deeper. Not long after, he felt a little cold. He released the Ice Jade Empress Dragon Scorpion Martial Soul and began to speed up. After that, he realized that he had swum for more than 10,000 miles. How could this be? Why haven't I seen the bottom of the well yet? Also, the surrounding temperature was constantly changing, sometimes cold and sometimes hot. After that, he continued to swim. After a long time, he had already swum for more than 20,000 miles. Tang Yu was finally happy. He saw light. Wait, light? Isn't this the bottom of the well? How could there be light? He decided to continue swimming. He had to find out. Splash! Tang Yu rushed out of the water. When he opened his eyes, he was shocked. This place. What a spacious place. He realized that this ice-fire yin-yang well was actually connected. It was more than 20,000 miles long. He went ashore, took out his clothes, and put them on. He looked around again. Using spiritual detection, this place seemed to be a naturally formed cave. Tang Yu realized that there seemed to be a dragon claw mark on the wall. Tang Yu was stunned. He released the Ice Jade Empress Dragon Scorpion Martial Soul and stretched out his dragon claw. Crack! It was actually very close. It was just that the dragon claw mark was much bigger than Tang Yu's. Boom, boom, boom. Crack, crack, crack. The wall actually cracked open, and light shone brightly. When he opened his eyes again, he was shocked. He realized that he was actually standing in a strange valley. Boom, boom, boom. There were sounds of destruction. Tang Yu walked over. Then he saw a very shocking scene. Two huge figures instantly soared into the sky. The two huge figures collided with each other in the sky. They were very big. They were at least a few thousand feet long. Roar! Roar! Two dragon roars pierced through the sky. Dragon. Tang Yu finally saw it clearly. It was a dragon. One was ice blue, and the other was red. Moreover, he felt that their strength was actually at the level of a divine king. How? How? Tang Yu was shocked. There was actually such a powerful dragon on the continent of Doluo. Although their strength didn't seem to be as strong as Guyuna at her peak, Guyuna had once told Tang Yu that her strength was actually incomplete. She was prepared to cultivate for tens of thousands of years before she was prepared to find her other strength. Roar! Blazing Dragon King, you better not force me. What do you want? The ice blue dragon spoke. Its voice was a very cold male voice. Roar! Why? Why? Why did you betray us? Why did you hook up with the ants of the divine world? Why? Answer me. Ice Dragon King. Blazing Dragon King roared. Its voice was actually a female's voice. When it spat out flames, the surrounding space was actually burning. Tang Yu felt that the flames seemed to have surpassed the ultimate fire. It was actually the absolute fire. Whoosh! The dragon called Ice Dragon spat out blue icy mist. Wherever it went, thousands of miles were frozen. Crack! The icy mist froze the flames. This was actually ice that surpassed absolute zero. Blazing Flame, shut up. I won't allow you to insult her. I don't want to get angry. What's so good about her? Why are you so persistent? Is it because I'm not good enough? Is it because the Black Dragon King and White Dragon King are not good enough? Or the other Dragon Kings are not good enough? Why are you willing to be with her, but not with us? Blazing Dragon King roared angrily. Ice Dragon King was silent for a long time. Stop. If you continue fighting, this place will be destroyed. Many living beings will die. Ice Dragon King said. Shut up. If you don't give me an explanation, I won't stop. Do you know that your impulsiveness has caused the defeat of the Dragon God War? You have already been labeled as a traitor by the dragons. You will be chased out of the dragons. Do you know? Give me a reason. Maybe we can still salvage the situation. Blazing Dragon King roared. His entire body was surrounded by terrifying flames. Traitor? Hee. I only do what I love. As for why I did it, it's because I love her. Since you all think I'm a traitor, then I'll definitely be the traitor. Ice Dragon King roared into the sky. The surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. Ice Dragon King, you Aster's shoal. 7 figures suddenly appeared beside Blazing Dragon King. They were 7 dragons of different colors. Other than Blazing Dragon King, there was a platinum dragon, a pitch black dragon, an ocean blue dragon, an emerald dragon, a sky blue dragon, a purple dragon, and the largest dragon. Its size was a few hundred times bigger than the other dragons present. This dragon had no wings. On its back was a continent with mountains, rivers, forests, and volcanoes. Roar! White Dragon King, Black Dragon King, Water Dragon King, Emerald Dragon King, Hurricane Dragon King, Lightning Dragon King, and Earth Dragon King. All of you have actually come. Are you all prepared to send me off? The Ice Dragon King roared towards the sky. Why should I leave? You Aster's shoal. The 7 dragons spoke together. Their voices were all female. I've already said it. Since everyone in the tribe thinks I'm a traitor, then I'll be one. From now on, I, Ice Dragon King, officially leave the dragons. No, we don't think you're a traitor. White Dragon King was the first to speak. Shut up, White Dragon. You're just too stupid. You can't turn back anymore, Black Dragon King said. You want to leave? Then defeat us, Blazing Dragon King said. Ice Dragon King glanced at the 7 dragons. You want to fight 8 against 1? Sure. Whoosh. Ice Dragon King was the first to attack. His first target was Emerald Dragon King. He grabbed her and flew back for a long distance before stopping. Emerald Dragon King was shocked. Before she could react, she had already turned into an ice sculpture. First one, Ice Dragon King finished speaking and looked at the 7 Dragon Kings who were dumbfounded behind him. Second one, third one, Ice Dragon King finished speaking and arrived in front of White Dragon King and Black Dragon King in a short period of time. 2 dragon claws grabbed the heads of the 2 dragons and swooped down to the ground. The 2 Dragon Kings were pressed to the ground. Their bodies began to freeze. In less than a minute, the 2 dragons had also turned into ice sculptures. Ice Dragon King raised his head and looked at the remaining 5 Dragon Kings. So strong, Thunder Dragon King muttered. A trace of admiration flashed across his eyes. But at this moment, Thunder Dragon King realized that her horns had already been grabbed by Ice Dragon King. Thunder, you are good at everything. Just like White Dragon King, you are too naive. Ice Dragon King grabbed her horns and threw them at Hurricane Dragon King. Coincidentally, they hit the ground. The 2 Dragon Kings fell on Earth Dragon King. Thick skin, I will deal with you as well, Ice Dragon King said. He slowly opened his mouth. An ice blue energy wave gathered in his mouth. It's Ice Century. Earth Dragon King and Blazing Dragon King cried out. Hurricane Dragon King and Thunder Dragon King had just flown up and saw it too. They exclaimed, "Is he crazy? Is he trying to freeze this world? Everyone, I know that you love me. It's just that I have already been destined with her for 3 lifetimes. My heart cannot contain anyone else. So I am sorry." Ice Dragon King finished speaking in his mind. The ice blue energy wave in his mouth was finally spat out. In an instant, the entire world was covered in ice blue. It became a world of ice and snow. This is the origin of the Ice Age in Dolua's history. This sentence suddenly appeared in front of Tang Yu. When he saw this, he couldn't be more shocked. The Ice Age actually came about like this. The light dispersed. In front of Ice Dragon King, there were already 4 giant dragons frozen. Everyone, I am truly sorry, Ice Dragon King muttered. Just as he was about to leave, boom, roar. A red figure rushed out of the ice and roared towards the sky. It then charged towards the Ice Dragon King and bit down on his neck. Roar. Ice Dragon King also cried out in pain. However, he also bit the red figure. Roar. That figure also cried out in pain. Wasn't she the Blazing Dragon King? You. Ice Dragon King looked at her in shock. Oomph. Blazing Dragon Body. You idiot. Blazing Dragon King snorted. I see. You have become smarter, Ice Dragon King muttered. The blood of the 2 dragons flowed down. 1 blue and 1 red, forming a lake. Ice Fire Yin Yang Well. Tang Yu was shocked. Was this the origin of the Ice Fire Yin Yang Well? Blazing Dragon King slowly opened his mouth. You can go. I took a bite of you, and you bit me. From now on, we don't owe each other anything. You traitor. Raging Flames Dragon King turned around and spat out flames to melt the frozen 7 great Dragon Kings. Ice Dragon King just looked at her. Thank you. If there is a second half of my life, I will definitely marry you. Ice Dragon King then spread his wings and flew away. Blazing Dragon King trembled. Tears finally flowed out. You idiot. Then a line of words appeared. Battle of the 9 Dragons. After that, many things happened, especially a terrifying thing that happened later. There were very few fragments. Only a line of words appeared in front of him. Era of Draconic Sacrifice, Doomsday of Dragons. Then, with a flash of light, Tang Yu opened his eyes again. He had returned to his original position. However, the wall had turned into many murals. The 9 Dragon Kings were all there. There were also some corpses of dragons from the era of draconic sacrifice. There were also several dragon burial grounds. Tang Yu finished reading. However, he felt an inexplicable sadness in his heart. What did they do wrong? Why did they do this to them? He clenched his fists. They should still be alive. At this moment, 8 auras suddenly entered between Tang Yu's brows. Instantly, several places appeared in his mind. Dragon King is still alive? Tang Yu muttered. It seemed that he had to do something, and Chapter 14. Outside the valley, roar, hiss. In the sky, 2 huge creatures were fighting to the death. Below them stood 3 people in a triangular formation. He saw a majestic golden dragon hovering in the air, staring at a large emerald snake on the other side. Hiss, I didn't expect you guys to have a martial soul fusion skill. Furthermore, it's the golden holy dragon of dragons. The huge green snake was Dugubo's martial soul true body, while the golden dragon was Lu Erlong and Flanders's martial soul fusion skill, golden holy dragon. You're overpraising, Master said weakly. The more Dugubo fought, the more shocked he became. He realized that the golden holy dragon was suppressing his aura. Snakes were actually a branch of dragons. In a snake's body, there was only a trace of dragon's bloodline. If they were lucky, they might be able to transform into a true dragon, but the probability was too low. Dugubo's jade-scaled snake emperor's bloodline was very close to that of a true dragon. However, the holy dragon was the head of all dragons. Even if Luo Sanpao only possessed a portion of its aura, he could still suppress the jade-scaled snake emperor to a certain extent. Dugubo's eyes moved, and 2 pale white rays of light shot out from the jade-scaled snake emperor's eyes, heading straight for Luo Sanpao. When Master saw the white rays of light, his heart skipped a beat. He could clearly feel that it wasn't a skill belonging to Dugubo's soul ring. The change in the snake's head was undoubtedly an ability of the soul bone. Among the 6 orthodox soul bones, the skull and sternum were undoubtedly the most important ones. Right now, Dugubo was using an ability that belonged to the skull's soul bone. Fart like thunder, earth-shattering Luo Sanpao. A thick golden fog spurted out from Luo Sanpao's tail, condensing into a golden shield in the air to block the incoming white ray of light. With a buzzing sound, Luo Sanpao and the Grandmaster's bodies trembled violently. The moment the golden light collided with the white light in the air, it was completely dyed white by the white light. Following that, an even more shocking scene occurred. After being dyed white, the shield underwent a qualitative change in the air. The originally illusory energy became solid, turning into a stone that fell from the sky. It's the skull of the snake Empress Medusa, the Grandmaster exclaimed. It's good that you know. However, even if you can dodge it once, can you dodge it a second time? The jade-scaled serpent emperor's pale eyes looked at Luo Sanpao again. The golden light shone again. Master Flanders, Lu Erlong, and the other 2 almost simultaneously spat out a mouthful of blood, which landed on the ring in the center of the golden triangular formation. In an instant, the blood of the 3 people fused together within the ring, turning into a golden light that landed on Luo Sanpao's body. Spreading his dragon wings, Luo Sanpao didn't try to dodge the jade-scaled snake emperor's attack this time. Instead, the golden light around his body burned like flames. Each dragon's roar was louder than the last. The golden flames condensed into another one in front of him. It transformed into a transparent dragon shadow and charged toward the jade-scaled snake emperor. The profound meaning of the golden holy dragon, the true form of the holy dragon. F***CK. Dugubo roared furiously. The holy dragon's true form was one of the golden holy dragon's strongest profundities. Even if it was just a fake golden holy dragon, the power it could unleash was still extraordinary. Medusa's gaze was a terrifying beam of light that mutated objects or energy. However, it also had its limits. The holy dragon's true form that was charging toward him like a meteor had clearly exceeded the limits of Medusa's gaze. What made Dugabo even more depressed was that he couldn't dodge it now. Given the power of the holy dragon's true form, if he dodged, the mountain behind him would be razed to the ground. The ice fire Yin-Yang well would also be destroyed and disappear. In that case, the two little fellows inside would be in danger. Dugabo's eighth soul ring lit up. Black light covered the snake's body, turning the jade-green color into a dark green color. Dugabo's raised snake head returned to its normal state, and the jade-green pearl was spat out from his mouth once more. Then, a strange scene unfolded. Everything seemed to have stopped. Everything had been frozen. The jade-scaled snake emperor's huge body turned transparent and disappeared. Dugabo's body was suspended in midair. He controlled the jade-green pearl with his right hand and slowly flew it toward the holy dragon's true form. He was using his eighth soul skill, Time Freeze. If the destructive power of this soul skill was combined with his ninth soul skill, even a city could be easily destroyed. The soul power consumption of this soul skill was extremely huge for Dugabo. If it wasn't a last resort, he wouldn't use it easily. The jade-green pearl flew into the holy dragon's true form. Dugabo's eyes shone with a jade-green light. Fuse. The green light instantly spread and dyed the golden holy dragon's true form green. It actually turned into an emerald dragon, just like that. Dugabo came in front of the jade-green holy dragon's true form. His face was slightly pale. Fortunately, this was a fake golden holy dragon. If it was the real golden holy dragon's true form, even his Time Freeze might not be able to restrain it. He raised his hand and carefully put the jade-green pearl into his mouth. He pressed his left hand on the head of the holy dragon's true form. The jade-green light in his eyes retracted, but his entire left hand turned jade-green. Dugabo retracted his 5 fingers. 2 cold stars lit up his eyes as he shouted, "Break!" The crisp cracking sound was very obvious in the night sky. A series of cracks started to spread from the head of the jade-green holy dragon's true form. In the blink of an eye, it had spread to the entire body. Dugabo's figure flashed and returned to his position on the mountain. The black light of his 8th soul ring retracted. Recover. The frozen space returned to normal. However, the holy dragon's true form was no longer able to move forward. All the cracks caused it to shatter into glass. With a bang, a ring of surging energy waves turned into a halo and scattered in all directions. However, it no longer had the power of the attack from before. Defeated. Master and the others have been defeated. Dugabo's eyes were filled with emotions that a normal person should have. He looked indifferently at the golden iron triangle in front of him, who didn't have much resistance left. However, they still straightened their backs and looked straight at him. He said indifferently, "You guys are not bad. With such soul power, you were actually able to cause me quite a bit of trouble. This martial soul fusion skill is indeed the most outstanding one I've ever seen. If it were a Contra Soul Master, I'm afraid they wouldn't be a match for you guys." The Master said indifferently, "So what? You still won. Let's do it." He held Lu Erlong's hand and slowly closed his eyes. Something might have happened to his 2 disciples. This blow to him was really, isn't it easy to die? A green light flashed, and Dugabo was already in front of the 3 of them. Wait a minute. The Master seemed to have suddenly thought of something and opened his eyes again. Dugabo, Tang San, and Tang Yu are my disciples. If you let Erlong and Flanders go, I'll give my life to you. You could do whatever you want with me. Dugabo said disdainfully, "Do you have the qualifications to negotiate with me?" Flanders said weakly, "Dugabo, I'm not afraid to tell you that the father of Mistress is someone you can't afford to offend. Once we can't go back, my people will immediately look for him. His existence is even more terrifying than the blue lightning tyrant dragon. As for Light Rain, if you wish for your family to disappear from this world, then do it." The person behind him, even the Martial Soul Palace, doesn't dare to offend him. Oh, Dugabo looked at the three people in front of him with great interest. So what kind of background does Tang Sin have? Someone that even I can't afford to offend? Tell me, who is his father? Also, that Tang Yu, your tone seems to say that the person behind him is more terrifying than the martial soul palace. Flanders snorted coldly. Don't you know how to calculate the age? Mistress is 13 years old this year, so his father naturally can't be that old. Who else can it be on the continent? Dugu Bo was stunned for a moment, but soon he seemed to have thought of something. His face suddenly changed. Tang San, Tang San. That person's surname is also Tang. Could it be? No, that's not right. That kid's martial soul is only blue silvergrass. The master said coldly, yes, the martial soul you saw was only blue silvergrass, but what if he has two martial souls? What did you say? The shock in Dugabo's heart was indescribable. You mean that kid actually has twin martial souls? The master said, yes. Also, Light Rain's family. Hee. There's so many peerless, limit, Doloa. Dugabo was shocked. Peerless, limit, Doloa? So many? What do you mean? Dugabo stared at the master. Hee. It was the literal meaning of the words. His family can definitely destroy any force in an instant, including the martial soul palace. What's more, you're just a titled Doloa. Dugabo's eyes were filled with uncertainty. He slowly raised his right hand, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. He had secretly made up his mind. Not only would he immediately kill the three people in front of him, but he would also quickly kill Tang San at the same time. Flanders was right. That person was indeed someone he couldn't afford to offend. But as long as he destroyed the evidence and left this place immediately, it wouldn't be easy for that person to find him. As for Tang Yu, he wouldn't die, so he didn't have to worry about his family. Just as Dugu Bo was about to kill him, a clear voice suddenly came from afar. Dugabo, how dare you? Dugabo was stunned for a moment. He turned his head to look in the direction of the voice and saw a figure rushing towards them at an extremely fast speed. The rugged mountain road didn't slow him down at all. Under the lead of 8 slender figures, he was quickly approaching them. Xiao San, the master and Flanders called out in unison. Both of their eyes were filled with astonishment. That's right, it was Tang San. Under the effect of the 8-spider spear, he had arrived in front of everyone in a short while. At this time, Tang San looked slightly different. The 8-spider spear on his back had some strange changes compared to before. The 8-spider spear itself didn't change in size, but the originally bluish-purple 8-spider spear had now turned dark red. On the dark red body, there were circles of white patterns mixed in, like lines of white patterns, making the 8-spider spear look bright and dazzling. However, at this time, Flanders, the master, and Lu Erlong were all shocked that Tang San was still alive, so they didn't notice these changes. But Dugubo wouldn't let go of such details. He was secretly shocked. Although he didn't know what happened to Tang San, as a poisoned law, he knew very well that in the poisonous fog, the brighter the color, the more poisonous it was. This kid clearly obtained something from the ice fire, Yin Yang well. It turned out that after Tang San ate the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot, he sank into the ice fire Yin Yang well. Very quickly, he was drowned by the strong poison and fell unconscious. Tang Yu floated him out of the water so that he couldn't sink. The records in the Xiantian treasure record weren't wrong. Although these two extremely poisonous herbs were very strong, they could become treasures that could be absorbed by the human body after they were neutralized. However, the medicinal effects of these two herbs were too strong, and he couldn't absorb them in a short period of time. When Tang Sin woke up, he realized that he was already floating in the ice fire Yin Yang well. His soul power had already recovered to its optimal state. To Tang San, the extreme chill Yin spring was like cold water, while the blazing sun spring was like warm water. Not only would he not be harmed by soaking in it, but it would also be very comfortable. Tang San knew that he had to rely on the ice fire Yin Yang well to constantly absorb the effects of the two types of herbs within his body. According to the records in the Shantian treasure record, the benefits of consuming these two herbs could be summed up in two words: fire and water resistance. When he saw the changes in the 8 spider spears on Tang San's back, Dugubo's killing intent became even stronger. He thought to himself, it's good that they're here. I can kill all 4 of them at once, and I won't have to make another trip. However, there was a loud boom from the ice fire in Yongwell. Whoosh! A blue figure shot into the clouds. The air within a few kilometers turned into ice. Hail started to fall from the sky. Although it wasn't natural, the scene was stunning. That figure slowly descended. He had icy blue hair and beautiful blue eyes. His black windbreaker fluttered in the wind, and he had a pair of blue dragon wings and a beautiful jade-green scorpion tail. His snow-white skin wasn't something that a human could have. He glanced at Dugubo, and Dugubo was shocked. He actually wanted to bow down to him just now. He had become stronger again. Dugubo was sweating profusely. Now that I'm here, who else do you want to kill? Old Poison. That person was none other than Tang Yu. Light Rain. Everyone was overjoyed. Old Poison, didn't you say that you wanted to do 3 things for me and my brother? The first thing is that no matter what, you can't hurt anyone related to our Shrek Academy. Tang Yu said indifferently. Senior Dugu, what I want to say is the same as Light Rain. Tang Sen also said. Dugubo was stunned. He didn't expect that Tang Yu and Tang San would actually raise conditions for him. Tang San smiled and said to the master, Teacher, I've made you worry. Actually, Senior Dugu didn't have any ill intentions when he captured me. He just wanted to check the characteristics of the poison in my 8 spider spears. Senior Dugu saw that my talent was outstanding, so he decided to teach me some knowledge about the poison martial spirit. Why did you have a conflict with Senior Dugu? The 3 of them were speechless. They looked at Tang Yu again. Tang Yu said indifferently. He saw that I won against him last time and was very unconvinced. This time, he came to fight with me again. Everyone was speechless. Dugubo's old face reddened. Tang Yu was actually right. He was really unconvinced. So when he caught Tang San, he fought with Tang Yu once. Even if he didn't say it, he already knew the result. After sending the 3 of them away, Dugubo let out a sigh of relief and looked at Tang Yu and Tang San. Why did you cover for me? Because of my personality? Why? Tang Yu looked at him with her half-moon eyes. Dugubo was speechless. Tang San looked at Dugubo. This is a deal between us. You promised to do 3 things for us. Did you forget? Dugubo was still speechless. Dugubo's test. Thank you for showing mercy, Senior. Tang San bounced up from the ground, and a smile appeared on his face again. Dugubo was shocked. What kind of herb did you eat? You're not even afraid of my jade, phosphorus, snake emperor poison? There's an extremely strong extreme yin qi and extreme yang qi conflicting with each other in my brother's body. It's just like the star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot flower growing beside the spring. This way, you can cultivate a physique that is impervious to fire and water and repels all poisons. Tang Yu said at the side. Tang San nodded, indicating that he admitted it. Good. What a good impervious to fire and water. Repels all poisons. Now, do you have a way to cure the poison in my body? Dugubo asked. Tang San said, I've thought of 2 ways to cure the poison in your body. One of them is to consume these 2 herbs at the same time, and then use your powerful soul power to absorb their medicinal properties. That way, I'm at least 80% sure that I can cure the poison in your body. The star anise mysterious ice grass and the blazing delicate apricot flower are both immortal grade herbs. Although they are highly poisonous, their immortal grade evaluation is unquestionable. That's right, they can cure the poison in your body. But at the same time, your poison technique will be cured at the same time. Are you willing to do that? Dugubo was stunned. He originally planned to give it his all, but after hearing what Tang San said, he immediately hesitated. Of course I don't agree. If the old poison loses his poison technique, can he still be called Poison Doloa? Tang Yu said. Dugubo nodded. He had the same idea. You said that there are 2 ways to cure the poison in my body. What's the other way? Dugabo asked. Tang San said, I'm only 60% sure that the second method will succeed, but it won't harm your strength. Of course, your granddaughter's poison is still shallow, and I'm 100% sure that I can cure her. This method isn't complicated. The reason why you're suffering from the poison backlash is mainly because of the poison technique you cultivate. If you have a tool martial soul, it'll be much easier. You just have to condense the poison in your body into your martial soul, and everything will be solved. But you're using a beast martial soul now, so the poison will fuse with your body. Even though your soul power can be used to control and suppress the poison, it has already become a part of your body. That's why it's causing so much damage to your body. I want to keep the poison in your body, but I don't want it to hurt you. I have to find a parasite to store the poison. I think, with your strength, you should have a soul bone. You mean? Dugubo's eyes flashed. That's right, Tang San said with a smile. Huh. Tang Yu also smiled knowingly. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. During this half a year, Tang San's soul power could be said to have improved by leaps and bounds, and he was already at rank 38. However, Tang Yu was the one who improved the fastest. His soul power was already at rank 58 in half a year. Huh, a 13-year-old rank 58 Soul King. That's scary. Furthermore, for some reason, Tang Yu's understanding of the ice element was getting deeper and deeper. It was as if he was ice, and the ice was him. However, Tang San didn't see how Tang Yu cultivated, and this was something that puzzled him. Instead, he often saw Tang Yu sneaking into the ice-fire Yin-Yang well to do something. On this day, Tang Yu emerged from the spring with a smile on his face. The land of dawn, he muttered. Tang Yu came ashore and shook his beautiful blue hair. The water droplets turned into ice droplets and fell to the ground with a crackling sound. He put on his black windbreaker and looked at Tang San, who was not far away, as well as Dugubo, who had been watching Tang San attentively. What were they doing? Tang Yu walked towards them. Tang San was sitting there. He seemed to be staring blankly in front of him, and right in front of him was the copper cauldron. Dugubo had been staring at the copper cauldron attentively from the side. He saw the gap in the lid of the copper cauldron. At this moment, faint purple smoke was constantly coming out of it. He was already used to this kind of situation. Tang San would often come up with some strange poisons that even he couldn't help but praise. However, Tang San was unwilling to tell him about some of the formulas, which made Dugubo very depressed. The purple smoke coming out of the copper cauldron lingered above the copper cauldron, swaying slightly. Dugubo's nose twitched slightly. He was proficient in the art of poison, and his resistance to poison was extremely strong. Naturally, he wasn't afraid. However, he soon realized that the purple smoke didn't have any smell, so naturally, he couldn't determine the ingredients in it. However, he didn't know why, but when he looked at the rising purple smoke, he felt a chill in his heart. The two of them didn't notice that Tang Yu had been behind them. He stared at the copper cauldron and sniffed it again. Suddenly, he was shocked. Even this thing can be made. He muttered to himself. The refining process was extremely long. When the sky was bright the next morning, Dugubo was already feeling a little impatient. The black smoke above the copper cauldron finally quieted down and slowly returned to the copper cauldron. It's a success. Tang San jumped up from the ground, and the excitement in his voice was released uncontrollably. At that moment, he really had the liveliness and joy of his peers. Little monster, what exactly is this thing? Dugubo couldn't help but ask. Tang San let out a long breath, looked at Dugubo, and said mysteriously, "This is a treasure that can kill. I can guarantee that even if you're hit by it, you won't be able to live for more than 3 breaths. Of course, it's not a threat to you. Your skin is rough, and it can enter your body. I'll let you see my masterpiece after it cools down." He was not in a hurry, and waited for the copper cauldron to cool down slowly. At that moment, they suddenly felt that the temperature around them was gradually dropping. "I don't have the patience." A slightly mischievous voice came from behind them. "Wow, you scare me to death. Light Rain, why didn't you tell me that you were coming out?" Tang Sin patted his chest, obviously frightened. Brother, you're making Yama's invitation. Why would I disturb you? If I were to disturb you, you might die. Tang Yu pointed his index fingers and said with grievance. Ah, it's so dazzling. Tang Sin fell down again. When he got up again, the first thing he said was, "Oh, right. Light Rain, you know about Yama's invitation?" Tang Yu took out the grinding tool from the copper cauldron. While taking it out, she directly ignored the poison. Dugu Bo extended his head to take a look, only to see 3 small pitch-black needles that were only 1 inch long quietly lying within the grinding tool. This needle is called Yama's invitation. You spent so much time, and this is it? What's the use of this thing? Dugabo looked at Tang San and asked. He knew that Tang San would not make useless things, and this Yama's invitation sounded very domineering. A hidden weapon that can kill a tidal Dolua instantly. Do you think it's useful? Tang Yu looked at Dugabo with his half-moon eyes. This thing can kill a tidal Dolua? Are you kidding? This little thing can't break a tidal Dolua's defense at all. What's the use of it, even if it's poisonous? Dugabo's face was full of disbelief. Tang Sin looked at Dugabo. Do you know what a hidden weapon is? A hidden weapon is a weapon used in the dark. It can't break a person's defense in a direct confrontation, but it doesn't mean that it can't be done at any time. Moreover, I have to wait until my soul power reaches rank 40 before I can use these 3 needles. A special method was needed to send them out. They are called Yama's invitation. These 3 words, do they have any special meaning? Dugabo was a little confused. It's an invitation from the god of death that you can't refuse. The god of death wants you to go to hell as a guest, and it's a guest that you can't refuse. Tang Yu's eyes were cold and emitted a trace of death aura. It was as if he was the god of death. It's so powerful. Dugabo felt a trace of death aura and gasped. Although he didn't know where the death aura came from, if Tang Yu said so, it must be very powerful. That's right. The 2 words Yama means the god of death. Tell me, why did the Grim Reaper send you an invitation? Then what is it for? Naturally, it's to let you return to the embrace of the god of death. If the god of death wants you to die at midnight, who dares to keep you alive until dawn? Tang Sin looked at the 3 needles in a daze. It was as if he was looking at a peerless treasure. In fact, even Tang San didn't expect that he would be able to refine Yama's invitation. As a super hidden weapon that was ranked 3rd in the Black Heaven Treasure Records Hidden Weapon 100 separations, how could he not be excited? In his previous life, anyone in the martial arts world who mentioned the name of the soul-chasing and life-reaping Yama's invitation would only tremble. In order to refine Yama's invitation, Tang Sin used 49 precious herbs from the ice-fire yin-yang well, making the poison of Yama's invitation incurable. These black needles weren't made of metal at all, but were completely condensed from poison. Once it entered the human body, it would immediately turn into a highly toxic poison and take effect instantly. There was no antidote at all. Even if there was, there wouldn't even be a chance to take the antidote. Even if a brave warrior were to cut off his wrist, there wouldn't be enough time. However, the method of using Yama's invitation required a large amount of internal energy. Tang San calculated that if he used the mysterious heaven method to use Yama's invitation, he would have to wait until he was at least level 40 before he could use it. He was sure that he wouldn't be able to kill opponents who were too strong, but as long as he could use Yama's invitation to pierce the opponent's skin, then the opponent could only wait to be killed. Tang Yu handed the jade box to Tang San, and Tang San put the jade box into the 24 moonlit bridges. Tang San thought to himself, luckily, I'm next to the ice-fire yin-yang well. Otherwise, where would I find so many precious herbs? Unfortunately, the top 2 hidden weapons couldn't be refined with just herbs. Tang Yu seemed to know what Tang San was thinking and smiled. The materials used to refine the top 2 hidden weapons were as plentiful as weeds in his dream realm. If he wanted, he could go in and take some back at any time. However, would he tell Tang San? Of course not. The dream realm was Tang Yu's secret, and that first-generation god of emotions. Chapter 15. A few days later. Little monster, I'm almost cured of the poison. Recently, I can clearly feel that the effect of your medicine is getting smaller and smaller. There's too much poison in my body. I know this, and it's impossible to inject all of it into my soul bone. Furthermore, my body is already adapted to the poison to a certain extent. If there's no more poison left, it might be harmful. I think that's all for now. I'll bring your teachers and my granddaughter over later. You can leave after you cure my granddaughter. You're letting me go? Tang Sen looked at Dugabo. For some reason, he felt a little reluctant to part with him. Was he reluctant to part with the precious herbs around the ice fire, yin yang well? Perhaps he was, but not all of them. Dugabo's eyes were a little lonely. You're still so young. I can't keep you here forever. It's a pity that you and your brother are a few years older. I'll marry my beautiful granddaughter to you or your brother. Then, you'll have to call me Grandpa. Tang Sen shook his head helplessly and said, Forget it. Your granddaughter has fully inherited your good traditions. Furthermore, she already has a lover. The heir of the Tyrannosaurus family is much more outstanding than I am. Furthermore, my brother might not even like your granddaughter. Kid, are you trying to provoke me? The Tyrannosaurus family is powerful, but compared to your background, it's not much better. Furthermore, Yu Tianheng is not bad, but he's much worse than you. Your brother, Sai, he has a beautiful, extreme, 20-year-old Doloa as his wife. Dugabo was speechless. Over the past 6 months, Tang Sen had mentioned Wang Qiuer. Therefore, Dugabo was really shocked. A beautiful, 20-year-old Doloa. Furthermore, she was Tang Yu's girlfriend. They would definitely get married in the future. He might as well give up on marrying his granddaughter to him. My background? Tang San was stunned for a moment. He unconsciously thought of his father, whom he had not seen for many years. He secretly sighed. What background do I have? I'm just the son of a blacksmith. Dugabo was also stunned. In the past 6 months, he had learned a lot about Tang San. From his expression, he could tell that Tang San was not deliberately pretending. Kid, tell me about your past. Dugabo pulled Tang San and sat down beside the ice fire yin yang well. Tang San nodded. Other than the secret of his transmigration, he had nothing to hide about everything that had happened since he came to this world. He started from his childhood, from adopting Tang Yu as his younger brother, to his innate full soul power and twin martial souls, to how he became a disciple of a master, how he entered the Shrek Academy, and everything that happened after that. Dugabo was shocked as he listened carefully to Tang San's description. Although he was sure that Tang San was that person's son, he did not expect that his childhood had been like this. Moreover, if Tang Yu was adopted, then he and Tang San were not related by blood. This was even more certain that Tang Yu had a huge power behind him. Then where did you learn your poison? Did you pick up a book and have your current attainments? I don't believe it. Tang San chuckled. Forget it if you don't believe it. This is a secret. I won't tell you. Dugabo snorted. Forget it if you don't want to tell me. This is for you. As he spoke, Dugabo pulled out a blue leather pouch from somewhere and tossed it to Tang San. What are you doing? Trying to bribe me? Tang San received the blue leather pouch doubtfully. He did not need to ask to know that it was a soul tool. I already have the 24 moonlit bridges that my teacher gave me. You can keep this, or give it to your granddaughter. Dugabo shook his head. No, this is different from yours. My granddaughter doesn't like to play with these drugs, so it would be a waste to give it to her. This is called the Fortune Hunter Treasures pouch. Although your soul tool is not bad, it is still lacking compared to this. That's because your soul tool contains inanimate objects, while mine contains living things. Tang San was smart. After hearing Dugabo's words, he immediately understood. His lips moved slightly, and he whistled softly. Not bad, thank you. It's the same as Light Rain's Starlight Sapphire. It's just not easy to carry around. His ring was originally a high-grade item. How could it be compared? However, I promised you that as long as you can cure my poison, I will help you do 3 things. You already said the first thing is that you cannot harm the people from Shrek Academy. I gave you this Fortune Hunter Treasures pouch. Does that count as the second thing? Dugabo asked. Tang Sen looked at Dugabo and blinked his eyes. He looked at Dugabo innocently. Old freak, you were the one who took the initiative to give it to me. Did I ask for it from you? You? Dugabo was momentarily speechless. However, he could not do anything to Tang San in front of him. Tang San smiled slightly. He reached out and brushed his hand across his waist. With a flip of his wrist, he placed his palm in front of Dugabo. Although the Fortune Hunter Treasures pouch is not one of the conditions, I can't take your things for free. Consider this a return gift. Dugabo looked at Tang San's palm. A pair of small iron balls lay there quietly. The iron balls were pitch black and did not have any special features. Dugabo put away the 2 iron balls and faced the ice fire yin-yang well with his hands behind his back. Little freak, when are you going to treat my granddaughter's poison? Tang San was stunned. Dugabo's words were equivalent to asking him when he would leave this place. Old freak, do you really want me to leave? Tang San looked at Dugabo's lonely back. Dugabo said indifferently, do you think I can keep you here for the rest of your life? The outside world has a much wider space. That is where you should go. Without enough experience, how can you ascend to the position of title Dolua in the future? After a long while, Tang San's furrowed brows suddenly relaxed, as if he had figured something out. He looked at Dugabo with confidence and said, Old freak, you still have to do 2 things for me, right? Dugabo nodded. I always keep my word. As long as it doesn't violate my principles, I will agree. Tang San smiled and said, Well, I've already thought about the other 2 things. You've thought about it? Dugabo was shocked. Tang San nodded and looked around the ice fire yin-yang well. My second condition is that you can't stop me from taking the herbs I need from here. That's it. Dugabo looked at Tang San angrily. Tang San said, Do you agree or not? I agree. Why wouldn't I agree to such a simple thing? Dugabo said indifferently. At the same time, he was reminding Tang San not to state his conditions so easily. Even if he had to keep them for later use, it would be good. Tang San said thoughtfully, This is too simple. The next condition is a bit difficult. I don't know if you can do it. Dugabo said proudly, For me, what is difficult? What will be difficult? Tang San asked probingly, So you agree? Dugabo was not an impulsive young man. How could he easily agree to anything? Let's hear it first. What are your conditions? Tang San said with a smile. In fact, it's very simple. Our Shrek Academy's teaching strength is relatively poor, and we need someone to hold the fort. My third condition is to invite you to our Shrek Academy as a senior consultant. No, Dugabo flatly refused without waiting for Tang San to finish. What I'm most afraid of is having my freedom restricted. This is already a matter of principle. I can't promise you. You little freak. You actually want me to be a hired thug? Even the imperial family of the Heaven-Do Empire can't restrict my ability. Tang San said unhappily. Who's restricting you? You can come if you want, and you can leave if you want. It's just a name. At the very least, I can see you legitimately this way. It's not like I want you to be a consultant for the rest of your life. Once I graduate, you can do whatever you want. Who can stop you? Dugabo was stunned for a moment. He lowered his head to look at Tang San. Tang San was also looking at him. Dugabo had never seen him show an emotion in his eyes before. It was 30% expectation and 70% pleading. Just a name? Dugabo asked with a doubtful tone. Tang San hurriedly nodded. Of course. Do you think anyone will care what a title Dolua does? Of course. I won't object if you're willing to give us some pointers when you're free. Dugabo snorted unhappily. You little freak need my pointers? It's good enough that you don't give me pointers. Tang San was overjoyed. So you agree? Dugabo's face revealed a trace of a smile. As long as the teachers of your academy don't chase me out. Let's go. Go. Where to? Tang San asked doubtfully. Dugabo said, I never procrastinate. Since I've agreed to be your consultant, I'll send you back and bring my granddaughter over for you to treat her. Tang San was in a good mood because he could continue to be with Dugabo. He chuckled and said, Don't be in a hurry. Did you forget the second condition you agreed to? I still need to bring some of the medicine here. It will take time to sort them out. We've already lived here for half a year. What's a few more days? Give me 3 days. Little monster, how come I haven't seen your little brother recently? Dugabo asked curiously. Tang San was stunned. If he didn't mention it, he would have forgotten about it. My brother. He went out. What? Dugabo was shocked. He said he had something to do. Recently, he's been very mysterious. Forget it. You don't have to worry about him. He'll definitely be fine. Tang San's words revealed his extreme trust. 3 days later. Little monster, you bastard, I'll fight you to the death. Dugabo flew into a rage as he raised his hand and slapped Tang San. Tang San hurriedly used the ghost shadow perplexing track and turned to run. Old monster, you told me to take whatever I want, but you didn't say how much. Besides, I'll keep the roots or seeds. They'll grow back in a few years. However, old monster, your Rui Hunter treasures pouch is really good. Dugabo had been cultivating in the cave for the past 3 days. When the time came, he came to the ice fire Yang well to pick up Tang San and leave. However, when he went down to the ice fire Yang well again, he saw the miserable scene of his precious land being completely ransacked. How could he not be angry? As far as the eye could see, the originally thriving botanical garden had become a mess. It looked as if it had just been plowed. Soil was turned up everywhere, and there was not a single bit of green left. How could Dugabo not be angry when he saw such a scene? Tang San said unhappily, Old monster, you promised me that I could take whatever I want, but you didn't say how much I could take. I just chose to take all of it. Don't worry. Look, I didn't touch the ice fire Yang well. With its nourishment, this place will be thriving again in a few decades. You little monster, you're really infuriating. Dugabo was so angry that he couldn't say anything. He had indeed agreed to those conditions, but these things had accompanied him for decades. How could he not feel heartache? Tang San asked in a probing manner. Let's go. Dugabo fiercely glared at him. Let's go. After speaking, he no longer paid attention to Tang San. He soared up and headed towards the peak of the mountain. Tang San hurriedly released the 8-spider spear and quickly chased after Dugabo. He looked at the sky again. He didn't know where Light Rain was and what she was doing. Well, Light Rain will be fine. I'm going to meet everyone soon. Somewhere in the continent of Dolaw, this was a place that humans didn't know about. No one lived here. This was the home of light-type soul beasts. This was the Land of Dawn. The so-called Land of Dawn was the place where the sun rose and the sea level intersected. The Land of Dawn was an uninhabited island. Looking from afar, it was actually surrounded by light. It wasn't that no one could discover it, but that anyone who tried to approach it would be devoured by the intense light, no matter how strong they were. There was once a peerless Delaw who wanted to explore it, but he was incinerated before he could even get close. As a result, the soul beasts on this island lived without any restraints. On the island, the radiant butterfly goddess and radiant dragon god butterflies danced in the air. The radiant golden sparrow was feeding its babies on a tree. The golden dragon was lazily lying on the ground, basking in the sun. There were many other light-type soul beasts. Furthermore, the average soul beast here was at least 10,000 years old. Boom! The commotion broke the silence. The soul beasts seemed to have sensed something and ran away in fear. Somewhere on the island, there was a huge creature standing on the highest peak of the island. Roar! It roared. Heavens! What kind of creature is this? It's a dragon. It's actually a huge dragon. It was a white gold dragon several hundred zhang long. Its entire body emitted a dense light element. The huge dragon stared at the person in front of it. This person had long rainbow-colored hair that fluttered in the wind. His pupils were purplish red, and he had a pair of rainbow-colored dragon wings on his back. His hands were rainbow-colored dragon claws, and his body was covered in rainbow-colored golden and silver dragon scales. He was too beautiful and too handsome. These two words shouldn't exist on a person, but they miraculously appeared on a person. He was none other than Tang Yu. The huge dragon looked at Tang Yu and slowly said, "A human with the dragon god martial soul. Can you really do it? Let me continue to live." It was impossible to tell whether this voice was male or female. Tang Yu said unhurriedly, "Don't doubt me like that. I came all the way here to help you. I'm one of the 9 great dragon kings who survived the era of draconic sacrifice, White Dragon King. The White Dragon King trembled and stared at Tang Yu with an unfriendly gaze. Roar. Who are you? How do you know about the era of draconic sacrifice? How do you know my name? Also, why do you have the aura of the Silver Dragon King on you? Don't be so agitated. We're all the same kind. Thanks to Gu Yina, I become half of your kind. I'm not a real human now. I'm half human, half beast now. And Gu Yina is my good friend, Tang Yu said slowly. Gu Yina? The White Dragon King was puzzled. Oh, that's the name I gave her. Her real name is the Silver Dragon King. Tang Yu said. What? Lord? Lord? The White Dragon King's voice was obviously shocked. You actually gave Lord a name? The White Dragon King was shocked. Why underscore? Is there a problem? Tang Yu was puzzled. You gave her a name, and she's still alive? The White Dragon King was shocked. Why? Are you surprised? She and I are friends. Tang Yu asked. Ha ha. Looks like she likes you a lot. The White Dragon King was silent for a while and suddenly laughed. It seemed to be teasing him. Ah, she likes me? Why didn't I know? Tang Yu asked naively. Ah, I'm worried about your EQ. All right, I'll talk about this later. Tell me first, how did you know about the era of draconic sacrifice? The White Dragon King said seriously. Ah, that's what I recorded in the cave at the bottom of the Ice Fire Yin Yang Well, Tang Yu said. The Ice Fire Yin Yang Well. So it's the place where we fought him. No wonder the landscape there is special, and some things can be recorded. Tang Yu nodded. The 9 great dragon kings were still alive, but after the destruction of the era of draconic sacrifice, the kind of injury could no longer be recovered. At most, they could only live for another 100,000 years. Therefore, Tang Yu had to think of a way to save them. Moreover, the 9 great dragon kings were the sons of the dragon god. Although they were not biological children, they also had the bloodline of the dragon god. Therefore, as the other half of the dragon god and an old friend of the Silver Dragon King, he had to help them. I can let you live in a way. Are you willing? Tang Yu said. Why should I believe you? The White Dragon King said very cautiously. Tang Yu smiled slightly. Suddenly, 8 people appeared beside him. The White Dragon King was shocked, because it felt that these 8 were actually level 1 divine beasts. Wow. Bing Bing, look. It's the White Dragon King. Calm down. We've seen the Silver Dragon King before. I didn't expect to see such a big shot. The 7 of them were in an uproar. Wang Xiu bowed to the White Dragon King. They are my companions. At the same time, they're also my family. They all made a contract with me when they were at the end of their lives and became spirit souls. I once became a god, so they also became gods with me. However, due to some special circumstances, I left the god realm. However, I can guarantee that if I die, they can still live on by themselves. Tang Yu said solemnly. However, we won't let them die. If we die, we die together. If we die, we die together. The 8 of them suddenly said seriously. The White Dragon King was silent. It could feel that they were not acting. This was real family. Why? Why do you want to help me? The White Dragon King asked. I don't know why. When I saw that you were in danger, I wanted to help you. It was as if there was another me in my body that wanted me to help you. Moreover, I don't hate soul beasts. In fact, I like soul beasts very much. Tang Yu smiled slightly. The White Dragon King was stunned when it heard that. Although this reason was a little ridiculous, the way the White Dragon King looked at Tang Yu had completely changed. From the fierce look just now, it had become a little respectful. Yes, it was respect. The White Dragon King began to emit light and began to slowly shrink, slowly revealing its human form. It was actually a very cute little white-haired lowly. Tang Yu stared at her blankly. She actually had the urge to pat her head. Ah, be reserved, be reserved. Tang Yu shook his head. The White Dragon King looked at Tang Yu and laughed. It was really cute. What do you want to do? The White Dragon King smiled slightly. Attention, it was you. Tang Yu was shocked. What's wrong with the White Dragon King? The 8 people, beasts, were also shocked. Why did the name change? Tang Yu set up a faint golden hexagram array. As long as you cooperate, stand in the middle. The White Dragon King looked at the hexagram array and could not help but be stunned. What a strong light element. She stood in the middle. Skip, this is so magical. The White Dragon King looked at his current appearance. It looked like a soul, but also not a soul. It's fine as long as you live in my spiritual world. Tang Yu smiled. The White Dragon King suddenly knelt on one knee. Thank you, he said sincerely. Everyone was shocked. F***CK. What's going on? Hee hee. I'll go back first. The White Dragon King smiled gently. Tang Yu only reacted now. That? You? Do you have a name? Name? Just call me Alix. The White Dragon King, oh no, Alix said. Then, it turned into a white light and entered between Tang Yu's eyebrows. The other 8 people also entered one after another. Alix? That's a nice name. Father-in-law has gone back. No, I have to go back quickly. As for the other 8 Dragon Kings, I'll think of a way later. When Tang Yu was about to remove the hexagram array and leave, he saw a ball of light in the center. Suddenly, he was shocked. Alix's dragon origin. Dragon origin was an important thing for all dragons. When a dragon died, the dragon origin would slowly turn into the so-called dragon core, which was similar to an inner core. Dragon core. He had once eaten a dragon core from the White Dragon clan in his previous life. The effect was not bad. If it was a dragon core from the Ice Dragon clan, it would be more useful to him. Now, Alix's dragon origin was slowly changing. After that, it turned into a pure white dragon core with a dragon pattern. It was bigger than the dragon core he ate in his previous life and looked very good. This thing, did Alix deliberately leave it behind? However, this type of dragon core was useless to him, but it was very suitable for my little dong heir. He spread his wings and flew. Swoosh! He disappeared. Spiritual sea. I left my dragon origin for him, and he actually wants to give it to someone else. He's too ungrateful. Alix pouted and said angrily. There was no need to mention how cute she looked. Senior, don't be angry. Yuhao is like this, don't mind him. He won't grow tall if he's angry. Skydream said in annoyance. After that, Lanba Academy. The Great Master had already brought Tang San to find everyone except for Dai Mubai and Wang Dong. The 6 members of Shrek 7 reunited. Everyone was naturally pleasantly surprised when they saw Tang San again. Tang San repeated what he said to the Great Master. Little San, what did you say? That Dugu Bo came to the academy with you? Xiao Wu looked at Tang San in shock. Her face was slightly pale. Tang San thought that Xiao Wu was afraid of Dugu Bo's strength and poison. He hurriedly comforted her. Don't worry, Senior Dugu is still a good person. He also promised me that he won't hurt anyone in Shrek Academy. Nothing will happen. Moreover, he's now our academy's consultant. Oscar chuckled and said, that's great. With a titled expert like Deluo as our consultant, won't our Shrek Academy be able to do whatever we want in the world of academies in the future? The Great Master frowned slightly. The academy doesn't rely on teachers, but on students like you. All right, why didn't Light Rain come back with you? Tang Sin was about to say something. Big, home. Tang Yu's shout came from the sky. Everyone looked up and saw a figure descending from the sky. Boom! When the dust settled, they saw Tang Yu standing in the middle. His blue hair fluttered in the wind, and his black windbreaker danced in the wind. Light Rain. Everyone was shocked, but then they were overjoyed. Boom! In the distance, a pink figure rushed out and pounced towards Tang Yu. Boom! Tang Yu was pressed down by someone. That person hugged him and cried loudly. Woo 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 woo. Wah 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 wah. You idiot. Big idiot. You only know to come back now. Idiot. Woo woo woo. Wasn't he Wang Dong? From time to time, he would gently knock on Tang Yu's chest. Tang Yu was in a daze as he let him hug, press down, and hit him. Tang Yu also shed tears and hugged him back. It's your big idiot is back. The two hugged each other like that. Cough cough. You guys, everyone coughed. Only then did they realize that everyone was there. Their cheeks turned red, and they immediately separated. Light Rain, where did you go? Everyone asked. Me. I want a very fun place. Tang Yu smiled slightly. Everyone couldn't get anything out of him, so they gave up. Skip to the herb division. Tang, Sen took out a flower. Boss Dai, this is yours. This is called the strange velvet sky chrysanthemum. It's a neutral immortal herb. Eating it will nourish your limbs and open your 8 meridians. It can be used to cultivate an indestructible body. So strong? Thank you, brother. Xiao Ao. This is called the 8-petal immortal orchid. It's also an immortal herb. As long as it's placed in a jade container, it won't wither for 1,000 years. Among all the immortal herbs I brought back this time, it has the softest medicinal properties, but it's also the most mellow. It's easy to absorb, but takes a long time. Its function is to strengthen your foundation and expel impurities in your body. It's enough to make up for your slow cultivation speed as a food-type soul master. The effect will last until you reach level 70. It's that good? Fatso, this is called the coxcomb phoenix sunflower. You can't chew or swallow it. Gather your soul power and guide it. No matter how painful it is, you have to endure it. Otherwise, all your efforts will be in vain. The effect of this is very obvious. It should greatly increase your soul power and the effect of your flame. If you give up halfway, the effect will be greatly reduced. Tang Sen handed the herb to Ma Hongjun. Fatso thanked him and immediately went back. Rong Rong, your 7 treasures glazed pagoda martial soul is very special, and I only chose this immortal herb after much consideration. This is called the beautiful silk tulip, and it's very luxurious. If you consume it, you'll be able to absorb the essence of heaven and earth. The sun and moon will shine. Your 7 treasures glazed pagoda is a treasure-type martial soul. With the help of this beautiful silk tulip, you'll be able to complement each other. This flower can't be ingested. You have to gently suck its stamen and slowly absorb its essence into your body. After that, cultivate your soul power and allow the medicinal effects to spread throughout your entire body. Ning Rong Rong accepted the beautiful silk tulip with a smile and said, "Third brother, I really want to give you a kiss, but in order to prevent Xiao Wu from getting jealous, I won't do that. However, I won't take this flower for free. I'll be sure to repay you in the future." At the location of the yearning heartbroken grass, Zhu Zhuqing said with a forlorn expression, "I'm sorry, third brother, but I was distracted and was unable to successfully pluck this flower." Tang San heaved an internal sigh and shook his head in a resigned manner. "You don't have to be like this, Zhu Qing. I've also prepared some other herbs for you as backup." Wait a moment. Teacher also failed. All of a sudden, a soft thump sounded, and Tang Sin turned to discover that a mouthful of blood had already landed on the yearning heartbroken grass. Before he had a chance to react, the yearning heartbroken grass didn't even sway in the slightest this time, but it had already fallen off the yearning heartbroken stone and landed in Xiao Wu's hand. Xiao Wu wiped the blood from the corners of her lips, and a faint smile appeared on her face as she looked at the alluring flower in her hand with a slightly dazed expression. "I didn't think that I would be the fated one." Tang Sen was stunned, and so was Zhu Zhuqing. Who would have thought that the final owner of the yearning heartbroken grass will be Xiao Wu? Tang Yu and Wang Dong nodded slightly, as if they'd already expected this. Tang Sen stared blankly at Xiao Wu, unable to say anything for a long time. Xiao Wu lowered her head and gently stroked the flower with her fingertips. "Third brother, that story must be true, right?" Tang San said, "I don't know either. Eat it, it'll give you the best help." Xiao Wu shook her head. "No, great master's right. How can anyone be willing to consume such an immortal herb? Didn't you say that? As long as it recognizes its owner, it will never wither? I want it to always accompany me and love it." But Tang San hesitated and wanted to say something, but he was interrupted by Xiao Wu. "Don't worry, brother. I won't be left behind by everyone. I'll definitely work hard to cultivate." Xiao Wu naturally understood what Tang San was worried about. Tang San would never force Xiao Wu to do anything. He raised his hand and stroked her head, then smiled and said, "Then take good care of it. It'll always protect you." Tang San reached into his Rui Hunter treasures pouch and took out the sixth immortal herb. It was a stalk of white essence flower, looking as pure as a white lotus. Tang Xin placed it in front of Zhu Zhuqing. He smiled and said, "This flower is called the narcissus jade skin bone. It nourishes the muscles and bones, and it allows the qi to flow through the 7 meridians and 8 meridians. Originally, I prepared it for Xiao Wu, but she already has the yearning heartbroken red. This immortal herb is also suitable for you, so you should consume it." "Thank you, third brother." Zhu Zhuqing accepted the narcissus jade skin bone, then walked to a corner and sat down. Tang San felt around in his Rui 100 treasures pouch. He hesitated for a moment, then took out a light purple immortal herb. The top of the immortal herb was like a lid, but it was actually a lingji. The lingji was purple in color. Below was a jade-like stalk with 9 leaves. Tang San walked in front of the great master. "Teacher, although this 9th grade purple lingji isn't an immortal herb, it has the effect of consolidating your foundation and cultivating your qi. It's quite beneficial to your body. Eat it." Before the great master could refuse, Tang San had already taken the lingji from its stalk and handed it to the great master. Seeing the eagerness in Tang San's eyes, the great master sighed inwardly, but still took it and put it into his mouth. After chewing a few times, he swallowed it. Lingji is warm in nature, but this 9th grade purple lingji is also one of the best lingji. "Teacher, since Xiao Wu isn't willing to eat the yearning heartbroken red, let her stand guard for us. You should also cultivate for a while to dissolve the medicinal effects." The great master nodded and restrained his thoughts. He tried his best not to think about Lu Erlong, then sat down by the window and quietly cultivated. "Brother, don't you and Light Rain Wang Dong have any immortal herbs?" Xiao Wu asked. Tang Xin said, "I have some too." As he spoke, he took out an unremarkable herb from his Rui 100 treasures pouch. The herb was dark green in color. The strange thing was that there were 3 snow-white leaves in the center of the herb. There were a few drops of water in the center of the leaves, like the dew left behind in the morning. This herb is called the piercing autumn dew. Eating it can cultivate the fiery golden eyes, which can see through thousands of strange objects. Although the description is a little exaggerated, it has a lot of benefits for the cultivation of my purple demon eyes. It can also be considered an immortal herb. However, Xiao Yu and Wang Dong originally had 2 immortal grade, 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 immortal grade. That Tang Yu smiled slightly and said, "Okay, third brother, you don't have to prepare an immortal herb for me. Those things are actually not very useful to me. As for Little Dong, I've already brought him a gift better than an immortal herb." Oh, the 3 of them were surprised. What was better than an immortal herb? "Dear, what gift did you bring back?" Wang Dong hugged Tang Yu and smiled. Fortunately, Tang San and Xiao Wu were already used to it. If it was someone else, their jaw would definitely drop. The 2 of them were actually... Tang Yu smiled and took out a pure white pill. As soon as this pill was taken out, the surrounding light elements actually magically gathered around it. At this moment, a golden dragon pattern actually appeared on the pill that was enveloped by light. It was extremely dazzling. Tang San, Xiao Wu, and Wang Dong felt the dense light elements surrounding them. Being surrounded by the light elements felt very warm. Wang Dong's radiant dragon god butterfly was actually magically released by itself. Wang Dong stared at the pill in Tang Yu's hand in shock. His martial soul was actually trembling. Light rain. This is... Oh! Before Wang Dong could finish speaking, Tang Yu stuffed the dragon pill into his mouth. Tang Yu smiled and said, "Good stuff." Wang Dong felt the dense light elements in his body in amazement. He hurriedly sat cross-legged. Tang Yu brought Tang San and Xiao Wu 10 meters away from him. "Light rain, Wang Dong," the two of them said worriedly. "Don't worry, he'll be fine," Tang Yu said. Suddenly, a miraculous scene appeared. An illusory and beautiful dragon appeared behind Wang Dong's back. It had butterfly-like wings. It was the radiant dragon god butterfly. The surrounding light elements quickly fused into Wang Dong's body. The radiant dragon god butterfly spat out threads that emitted light elements. These threads wrapped around Wang Dong and formed a large cocoon. After that, the radiant dragon god butterfly's body started to change. It turned into an illusory, platinum-colored dragon. This dragon slowly transformed into a ball of light that entered the large cocoon. Wang Dong is currently undergoing a metamorphosis, so he can't be disturbed. I'll help protect him. Third brother, you guys should quickly go and cultivate. Tang Yu sat beside the large cocoon and began to meditate. After Tang San, Xiao Wu, and the others left, Tang Yu opened his eyes and slowly fished out something. It was actually a pill. This pill was sparkling and translucent, milky white in color. It was tender and alluring. There was a misty mist on top of it, and it was roughly the size of fingernail. Tang Yu directly threw it into his mouth. If Wang Dong was awake, he would have definitely been astonished. This was because he'd just eaten a Chinquin fortune pill. Chapter 16. What? Your rank 38? The burly student was shocked. He finally knew why he was so afraid. He was one rank higher than him. Furthermore, he was only 14 years old. At this moment, he couldn't help but regret saying that he wouldn't use his third soul skill. However, he was the former chief of the Blue Tyrant Academy, and he was the one who started this competition. Naturally, he couldn't back down. With a low growl, his body quickly changed. His already muscular body swelled again, especially the muscles on his arms, which seemed to have doubled in size. At the same time, his arms extended to his knees, and black hair appeared on the exposed areas. 3 yellow, and purple soul rings appeared. Tai Long, martial soul Herculean gorilla, rank 37 assault type, soul elder. Please enlighten me. Rank 37? Tang Sen was stunned. He couldn't help but reveal a strange smile on his face. If his opponent's strength was higher than his, it might be troublesome. However, his soul power was lower than his, so this battle was very simple. Tai Long directly extended his right fist towards Tang San. Competing with fists? Tang San thought. He directly extended his right hand towards Tai Long's fist. Just as the two fists were about to collide, a figure rushed towards them. That person's left hand grabbed Tai Long's fist, and his right hand gently grabbed Tang San's fist. The power that they had been accumulating for a long time instantly dissipated. Everyone was shocked. They didn't see this person just now. They saw that this person had long blue hair, a pair of beautiful ice blue eyes, snow-white skin, and a black windbreaker that fluttered in the wind. He looked at the two people who slowly raised their heads and said, "Internal fighting is prohibited in my classroom." Light rain, Tang Sen said. Xiao Wu, Oscar, and Dai Mubai were also shocked. Light rain was here. That meant light rain. Tang Yu looked at Tang San and nodded slightly with a smile. Tai Long stared fiercely at Tang Yu and said, "You? Who are you?" But just as he finished speaking, he was stunned. This person was so beautiful. Tai Long was stunned for a moment. Not only him, but everyone else was as well. He was too beautiful. Tang Yu instantly turned her head, her hair fluttering in the wind, looking very charming, and glanced at Tai Long indifferently. Ignoring him, she grabbed his arm and directly threw Tai Long. who had activated his martial soul, onto his seat. That was right. It was a direct toss. Everyone was so shocked that they couldn't close their jaws. A three-ring soul elder was thrown away like trash by a 14-year-old boy. Boom! Tai Long got up pitifully and realized that Tang Yu was already standing on the podium. So fast. He was not the only one who thought so. The others also did not notice what Tang Yu did just now. Tang San was stunned. Could light rain be? Tang Yu just now. When he said, "my classroom," he was even more certain. Cough, cough. Tang Yu clenched his right fist and covered his mouth as he coughed. Light rain, he was sure. He coughed twice and looked back at the class. After that, he said coldly, "really bad." As soon as he said that, the whole class exploded. F***CK. Who are you? That's right. You're a student too, right? Get the hell down here. Don't think that you're so awesome just because you're pretty. Everyone stood up and scolded. Tai Long was also staring at Tang Yu angrily. He was obviously angry that Tang Yu interrupted his act. Only a few of them sat there obediently, looking pitifully at their classmates who were about to suffer. Quiet. A terrifying roar came out of Tang Yu's mouth. Everyone was stunned. The students who had just stood up fell back into their chairs. So scary. Just now, when he introduced the person, he was actually hit by a sharp sword. My own. My soul power, I can feel it. I actually formed a Buddha. How cold. They all sat there obediently, not daring to make a sound. Are you not drinking with me? My name is Tang Yu. I'm Yi Ren's teacher. Tang Yu said coldly. Evil. How terrifying. Huh? He's a teacher? He's actually a Buddha? The people in the class were very suspicious of their own eyes. As for Shrek and the others, they looked as if they had expected it. You didn't hear wrongly. I'm your teacher. Tang Yu said coldly. Tang Yu continued to look at the crowd and said loudly, Who fought today? Stand up. In an instant, the people in the class started to whisper. After that, Tang San stood up slowly. Tai Long looked at Tang San, curled his lips, and stood up while holding the big bump on his head. Xiao Wu wanted to laugh, but she held it in because she felt the temperature around her dropping. 2. A bunch of bloodless trash. Don't you know that people who don't dare to cause trouble are mediocre? The two of you run 50 laps around the field. The rest of you run 100 laps around the field. If anyone can't run, before Tang Yu could finish his cold words, the entire classroom had turned into an ice classroom. The crowd did not notice it at all. There's an ice sculpture in front of the school gate. Tang Yu's lips curled up slightly. The crowd trembled. Whoosh. The whole class ran out of the classroom and towards the field. Only the 7 freaks and Tang Yu were left in the classroom. Light Rain, you're too domineering. Oscar laughed. Yeah, I didn't expect you to be our teacher. Dai Mubai also laughed. However, Tang Yu did not smile at them. She only said coldly, Aren't you all students? Everyone was stunned. Light Rain, he's gone, so stop pretending. Oscar said carefully. Hurry up and go to the sports field. If you don't go out, I'll make you run for the whole day. Tang Yu raised his eyebrows and said angrily. Yes. The crowd was shocked. After that, he disappeared with a whoosh. He was the only one left in the classroom. When Tang Yu arrived at the field, the crowd was lazy as if they were taking a stroll. Except for the 7 freaks, almost everyone was taking a stroll. Stop, Tang Yu shouted. Only then did the crowd realize it. They quickly stopped and lined up. Teacher Tang, you looked at these lazy fellows and sneered. Only a swoosh sound was heard. The crowd suddenly felt their bodies become a little heavy. Moreover, their soul power was sealed. The crowd looked at their bodies and realized that they were wearing an iron back shirt. There was also an iron wrist on their wrists. Everyone was shocked. It was only a second. Why did they have to wear this damn thing? Now keep running, Tang Yu said coldly. More than half of the crowd was enraged. Damn it, they were not convinced. What? Not convinced? Tang Yu looked at the people who were not convinced. Fine. If you're not convinced, beat me and I'll let you rest. Tang Yu directly released the Ice Jade Empress Dragon Scorpion. The surrounding temperature dropped instantly. Ice blue dragon wings grew from his back, and blue dragon horns grew from his head. His pupils became vertical, and a long jade-green scorpion tail appeared behind his back. Most importantly, 6 soul rings appeared. The crowd's shock turned into fear, because the soul ring combination was 5 black and 1 red. Damn it, what the hell is this? 5 black and 1 red? A 6-ringed soul emperor. 5 black soul rings. He even has the legendary red soul ring. 100,000 years. Is he a monster? Oh my god, I saw a monster. He's only 14 years old. The crowd could not help but tremble. It's too scary. Being stared at by his terrifying eyes, they did not know why they could not even move. It felt like a hunter staring at his target. Who else is not convinced? Tang Yu looked at the group of trembling students. They all nodded with all their might and muttered, I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Tang Yu immediately retracted his martial soul. If you're convinced, then hurry up and continue running. Yes. Teacher. Whisper louder. Yes. Teacher. Loud and clear. Whoosh. Everyone sped up and continued running. Was it okay to not run? Who wanted to fight with this domineering teacher? They were simply looking for shit. Tang Yu looked at their desperate expressions and smiled slightly. He did not expect that teacher Zhou Yi's teaching methods would actually come in handy one day. After a long time, everyone was already lying on the ground. They finally finished running. This domineering teacher was too scary. Oomph. Very good. You did a great job, but the students who were sneaking away just now, get out. Tang Yu said domineeringly. Everyone was shocked. They were actually discovered. After that, those unlucky people were punished to run again. After that, the remaining people were punished to do sit-ups. They wanted to cry, but had no tears. He was torturing them. Our teacher in charge. Please be magnanimous. What sneaked in? An hour later, everyone was already in pain and felt that their bodies had been hollowed out. Is it because of kidney overdraft? Using the Huiyuan kidney treasure tablet. Don't care about this thing. It was as if this was no longer their body. Everyone just wanted to go back to sleep quickly. However, whoosh, everyone realized that the iron back shirt and iron wrist on their bodies had disappeared. Everyone instantly felt relaxed. Everyone realized that their cultivation bottleneck had actually begun to tremble. Tang San and the others were the same. It couldn't be, right? The bottleneck that had just reached level 38 was actually loosening. When they got up with difficulty, they saw Tang Yu bringing a pot of clear water. After that, Teacher Tang Yu took out a milky white pill that was emitting mist and directly threw it into the clear water. Everyone was puzzled. However, Tang San had already revealed a shocked expression. This is after that, the clear water instantly began to boil. The entire pot had completely turned into a misty area. Gradually, the white mist began to gradually turn into a golden color. An even more bizarre scene appeared. The clear water began to turn into a golden liquid. Within the golden liquid, there was a faint scene of the sun and the moon competing with each other. The pot suddenly overflowed with a fragrance. Everyone looked at each other. No one could hide the shock in their eyes. Tang San's eyes were already wide open. This was really the Qianquan fortune pill. But why? Everyone smelled it and instantly felt that the fragrance was eliminating the impurities on their bodies. Hence, everyone quickly sat cross-legged to absorb it. Only Tang San stood there in a daze and looked at Tang Yu. Light Rain. Who exactly are you? Why do you know how to refine the Qianquan fortune pill that is unique to Sichuan? Where did you get those rare medicinal herbs from? Tang Yu seemed to have sensed something. He looked at Tang San, who was not far away. He was stunned at first. Then he smiled faintly and said, I will forever be your little brother. Tang San understood what he was saying. He was stunned for a moment before he smiled. Forget it. If Light Rain doesn't want to say it, I can't force him to say it. If there comes a day when he wants to say it, he will definitely tell me. After that, he sat cross-legged and began to absorb the medicinal fragrance. After that, Mr. Tang Yu poured the golden liquid into the small cups that he had prepared beforehand. After that, he said, Everyone, get up. When everyone heard Mr. Tang Yu's voice, they instantly stood up. They saw a large table with the same number of cups. as everyone. The cups contained the golden liquid from before. 1 cup per person. Drink it all, Tang Yu said coldly. At this moment, everyone was not angry. Instead, they were very happy. Then, they drank 1 cup per person. After school, a miraculous scene appeared on the field. Class 3 next door. Who cares which class they are from? The students realized that all the students from Class 1 were sitting cross-legged neatly on the field. Their bodies were emitting a strong medicinal fragrance, and there was even a black liquid on their bodies. Mr. Tang Yu was standing in front of them. Some students wanted to disturb them, but before they could get close, they were turned into ice sculptures. After that, Mr. Tang Yu said coldly, "My students are in deep meditation. If anyone dares to disturb them, I will send them to the extreme north for a day trip." After that, no one dared to disturb them anymore. Class 2's teacher in charge, Wang Dong, came over and stood beside Tang Yu. "Did you use that on them?" "Yes, this will help their future achievements. And that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.